disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. Just, I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
He just killed a fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. Yeah, because you got nothing. Lobito! You got nothing.
I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need BDA boxing.
Welcome everybody to the BD Boxing Podcast, broadcast to you live from the True North. It's your good friend Mr. BDA, and I sure am glad everybody could be on board for this one, fellas. We've got a fantastic, and I do mean fantastic, show for everybody out there. We're going to be speculating and analyzing about some of the data we have so far about the biggest and most promising prospects out there, as well as the best pound-for-pound fighters. And we're going to start speculating as we near the end of 2022. What's ahead for 2023, and we're gonna start keeping tabs of predictions. We're gonna get some people here to channel their inner Edgar Cayce's and see if they can predict the future. Hey, you never know. Maybe we might have some sort of a guy with ESP abilities on our hand. We'll see. We will see. It is, after all, October, Halloween season nearing, so we're gonna get down to all of that. Before we do that, shout out to everybody in the chat, and don't forget you can check us out on Spreakers, Spotify, iTunes, the whole shebang. Oh, excuse me, are we on iTunes? Yes, I believe we are. Keep forgetting. I don't have my list here in front of me. But by the way, also don't forget, if you want to donate a couple of shekels, you can certainly do it via the super chat feature. I suggest you use the membership program. That way you get more bang for your buck. But the most important thing is you continue to like, subscribe, spread the BDA gospel. All right, fellas? Want to give a big old shout out to everybody out there. Pound for Pound King, Carl, all the way from Australia. Mr. Chinny Chin Chin Chin. 2 Matador, Knockout Ned, Jack, the Kodo Nuff. Oh, the Kodo fan Nuff. You know, that sounds a little bit too close to Snuff Film. I don't like that name. Antonio Hernandez, Funktopus, Errol Stevens, Fluffy Toasters 89, Some Rando, Passive Live, SSC in the house. Shout out to SSC. Rapax Trucking Company in there as well. Eric Gomez, who says, my king is back. 2-time. Someone's happy that Deontay Wilder is back. All right, so like I said, we're going to be having one of those throwback shows. Look, there's not that much going on right now in boxing, especially this Saturday, so let's take a minute to reflect on everything that's happened and see if we can extrapolate something from the past and see if we can predict the future from that. I see we already got the Jimmy, are you there? The Jimmy Reno.
Yes, Jimmy. He is. What's going on,
Jimmy
man?
Reno. What's going on, man? I don't know if you heard what the description of the show today.
Yes, I did.
All right, fantastic. So that's all we're going to do, man. We're going to go to the gamut. What's
coming up and
No. Well, yeah. Well, we're going to go to the list of names, some of the best prospects and some of the best top 10 pound-for-pound guys. And we're going to try to determine which one will have a good year, 2023. Because again, I was talking to Bucho, and I said, I have an idea for a show where I want to put 4 options for somebody. A, whether they're going to get a win, are they going to get a loss, are they going to get a big fight, and then the 4th option would have been some sort of X factor. But this is a little bit more direct, less vague. That's ambiguous. So we're gonna try to get to the bottom of. We're gonna go through a couple of names, and we're gonna predict who will have a shining 2023. But Jimmy, I got to ask you though, before we get to that, what do you make of 2022 so far? We're almost near the end. How was it for you?
We had some good fights. I mean, but never as many as you'd like. I don't know. It's odd, right? It's not finishing up too strong, but it started out all right. I mean, I mean, as far as boxing goes today, it was all right. I mean, we had some decent fights. I mean, this year will be the year I really get into a woman's fight. You know, the one in Madison Square Garden. Just still can't. I'll never really be able to get behind it until they change it to 3 minutes. But other than that, there's some decent fights. You know what I mean? I'm looking forward to the conversation. We've got some young guys coming up, but I don't know. I kind of want to get away from this. See, because I think of things in longevity, right? I'll remember this year, maybe because I think I'm cynical, but I remember it was the year that Crawford, Spence didn't happen. You know, that it just never came to fruition. You know, it would have been the biggest fight at welterweight. And it's again, Triple G Canelo. That fight was past its due date. We had some good one with Usyk, seeing a cruiserweight that was really pleased with the emergence of Bam Rodriguez. But that wasn't a no surprise to me. Steve Kim's been talking that kid's praises for like the last 2 years. So I was expecting, to see good things out of him. And Steve was right as usual. Dude has an eye.
I'm glad you didn't call him Bam Bam Rodriguez. I've been hearing a lot of people say that. In fact, the man himself said, "Stop calling me Bam Bam. It's just Bam." I guess people still.
Yeah, I know. I've heard that.
People still remember Bam Bam Rios, who had that name. I mean, it's from the Flintstones. I think that's what really gets into people's head. By the way, shout out to Jack, the Kodo fan Nuff. I just got the name, by the way. He says, for his contribution to the Super Chat, he says, Inoue will shine in 2023, two-time undisputed champ. Interesting. We'll see, man.
Would have liked to see him fight more often, too. Like to see more coming out of him. He's too much of a talent to sit fighting once a year.
He's going to be fighting Butler, but, I mean, are you really excited about that one?
At this point with that fight, it's okay. How is he going to beat him? That's you know what I mean. Like, it's like that's the most exciting thing with his talent. Like, I think is he going to catch him with a fucking body shot because he throws vicious body shots, or is he going to knock him out to the head? You know what I mean? Like, that's the intrigue with that fight. Personally, for me,
the best scenario
he's a special talent.
The best scenarios for us would be if Inoue goes in there at less than 100%. If he goes in there with a flu, with a broken hand, a broken taint, whatever, broken taint or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so that he at least becomes handicapped and maybe Butler. And look, listen, you never count a fighter out. You don't want to do that. You gotta give these guys their props. But I think it's been established that if you don't have world-class boxing skills, and I'm talking world-class where you just outbox everybody every round, or if you don't have some sort of power or high advantage in speed, Inoue is just going to walk through you.
And think about this: the same year that was last year. So scratch that. No, was it this year? Earlier this year when Canelo broke Saunders' eye socket. No, that was last year. Okay, so either way, think about that, right? He got his eye socket broke, went to the corner. he punched his ticket for the night, but Inoue's eye socket was broken against in that first Donaire fight.
Oops.
And he never stopped. He never even stopped. I mean, the kid's tough as nails too. I mean, I saw that in Donaire. That was the one question. But what's that, brother?
I was pondering about that the other day, or rather reflecting on that. And I remember prior to that fight, to the Donaire fight, I was thinking, all right, this is the fight that's going to let me know, because I was on the fence about Inoue. I said, yes, he's got power, but what happens if he can't take a guy out of there within 5-6 rounds? And can he take a big punch? And that fight just answered all the questions. I mean, yes, he can go 12 rounds. Right. Yes, he can adapt. Yeah, he can. And it actually should have been a stoppage for Donaire. It should have been a stoppage for Inoue. Because remember, he dropped him with the body shot, and then
didn't even take a big punch, not get knocked out, but they can't fight hurt.
But you remember that the ref got in Inoue's face after he dropped Donaire? That should have been a stoppage. Jimmy, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. It checked out for a second. Yeah, what last thing I heard, you were talking about him going 12 rounds Inoue, and not just
what
can
I
he
said
take a
was
big
that
punch, but
what I said was that
Oh, what's
it should have been an Inoue win, a stoppage win, because remember he dropped Donaire to the body, and then he was going to run at Donaire ran away, and then Inoue was going to go after him, and the ref actually stepped in between both guys.
that's right.
So it could have been, I don't know, maybe it would have, I don't know. But then again, I think he picked up at the time the guy was, the ringside counter. So that's the one that counted. I think he went off of that. So I don't know if he actually bought him any extra time, but be that as it may. What I'm going to do, Jimmy,
took care of it the next time, though.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, next time he fought him 2 rounds. And that's the thing, too. Look at all the kid, didn't one of the guys that he blew out in 2 rounds just take out one of the Russells?
Exactly, yeah,
Rodriguez?
this Saturday. Yeah. He looked sharp in that fight, man. I don't know why he decided to call it a night, but
yeah. There's a ring. He was Ring Magazine, top number 2 when Inoue fought him. Like all those guys he fought were ranked in all the traditional boxing board. They rank a lot of those guys. They were all ranked in the top 3. And he in 2 rounds, just obliterated these guys. So these were the top. These weren't just, you know what I mean? So I know a lot of people don't watch the smaller guys, but what he was doing in how fast it was, it's incredible. Then all of a sudden he just was shelved. Like, I don't know if that was him, if he's got a lot of shit going on in Japan. Hopefully they can make things. I think Bob's in a position. It's like he really can't put pressure on this kid because America isn't his gig. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't where Inoue really comes to make his money. He's huge in Japan, so that's why I don't think Bob has much sway over him. I mean, how much pressure can he put on him? But we'll see. We'll hope.
Well, yeah, we'll see what happens. Now, let's get started with this. We got Gonzalo here, so now we're cooking with some hot grease. Gonzalo, are you there?
Gonzalo, you hot grease.
Yeah, I'm here, BD. I'm going to
by the
way,
I didn't bring up grease because you're Mexican. I'm not calling you a greaser. What I'm saying is that now we got 3 people on the panels. Now we can go ahead. Because Gonzalo, what we're going to be doing in this episode is, since we're nearing the end of the year, we're going to go through some of the biggest names out there and some of the biggest prospects, and we're going to speculate and look at the information we have available too, and base our speculations on that and see what's going to happen in 23 for this. Where are they going to be able to shine, essentially? Which fighter will shine and which fighter will essentially just stagnate or even recede in 2023. So there's going to be a lot of speculation. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We've got the phone lines open already, fellas. The phone lines are open. So if you want to call in during the show and let us know what you disagree with, what you agree with, maybe even make some of your own predictions, you're certainly welcome to do that. All right. Now let's get started. I'm going to choose a guy that just fought this Saturday because he's still hot in people's minds and because there's a little bit of a controversy here about his future. And I'm talking about young Devin Haney. Now, young Devin Haney, Rick Glaser gave that rumor a couple of weeks ago, I believe, that he says that Haney is going to be vacating his belts and moving to 140. Paulie Malignaggi, I don't know if you guys heard what he said, I think today, about Devin Haney. He claims Haney is going to avoid Lomachenko. Now, he gave a myriad of reasons. All right. One of them was that he claims he's only got 1 fight left with Top Rank, and that maybe Top Rank would rather have Haney not have the belt so that they can stay in-house. But he also said that based on what he's seen from Haney, he lacks the skills, aka the tools, to beat Lomachenko, and that he knows it, being Haney. And that's why and then of course the fact that he's been having trouble making 135. So he says he's going to be moving up. Haney, thereafter, came out on Twitter and had some nasty words for Paulie Malignaggi. I believe he called him Paulina. I'd have to check. So guys, have you heard of that drama that happened? What are your thoughts on that? And what do you think about Haney in 2023?
I just started right before I noticed the show. I was just starting to get into that, see what Paulie said. But I mean, you can go back a few months ago. I said that I wouldn't be surprised if Haney jumps to 140 because of all the things that said. What would be worse? Think about it. Him going to 140 and catching some shit, or staying in fighting and losing to Lomachenko at 135, and that comment he made about not losing to a white guy, that thing would just be thrown in his face, and it would be, obviously, you set yourself up by saying that. And it would be just as right to be thrown in the face of a white guy if he said, I'm not losing to a black fighter. I'd be one of them. I'd ride him too. When you lay that on there, and then all the horrible shit his father said, listen, there's no doubt about it. Lomachenko doesn't like him, and especially doesn't like his father. So they want that fight. And he's, saying it, and he's training hard, putting out videos, swimming and shit. So they're going to I think we're going to see Lomachenko looking really sharp against this dude. And I think it won't be long after that, Haney will announce he's going up to 140. And I don't give a fuck what anybody says. That's a bitch move after all the shit you said. If he would have just kept his mouth shut and just went along 135 and let people say what they want, you're not going to put it on him. But for him to say those things he said and to constantly, Jimmy,
if you're gonna talk about what he said, you got to tell people because maybe some of them don't know what you're talking about.
Oh well, he just said I'd never lose to a white boy on 78 Sport podcast with his father. And, and talk that shit, Dev. That's what fucking 78 Sport, because, again, that's what he likes. He wants that divisive shit pushed. But it was just ignorant. And it's the father. What war? Is it a no war? I mean, just like, you know what I mean? Not caring if Lomachenko's lost family members, friends, not knowing what he did there. It's a militia. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. If he wanted to go out and do something crazy, it's not like he doesn't have stones. The boxers I know growing up, whether they're professional or not, they would be the dudes to go try to do something crazy. And it's not like other professional athletes in Ukraine haven't been killed, including a world champion kickboxer. So for Haney's father to run his mouth and say that shit, I want to see that fight because I personally believe the same way Lynn Pauly does. Haney has quick hands, got an excellent jab, length, but he doesn't know. Like, okay, for instance, we saw Kambosos going southpaw, and it was tripping him up a little. When he was kind of going, what was that? I mean, Kambosos could do it well, and he was doing that weird sidestep. Basically, what he was trying to do was just do angles that Lomachenko does in his sleep. Just changes angles, throw punches, and as he's throwing, he doubles up on his jab, and then next he's in you. But instead of still in front, he's turning sideways, and Haney's a straight shooter, boom, boom, counter puncher. Turning sideways, once you get his feet out of position and him turned, he's in a world of hurt. And he doesn't know how to fight inside. And I think Lomachenko would take him apart inside. And I think his people know it, like Paulie said. And I never been off that square. I think fucking Lomachenko beats him, but that window's closing because of his age. And if anything, they'll try to wait his ass out. But if they go up to 140, what are they going to do? Try to drag him up there? Which he will try to do. Of course, once he goes up there, then he'll run his mouth about, well, why don't you come up to 140? Either way, if he does go up to 140, I'm done. I won't even fucking waste my time on that, dude. And
we already got a phone call, man. We already got a phone call. I'm curious to see what this is about. Let's go to 951. 951, you're on the air. 951, what's on your mind?
Boom guy, LDBC.
Oh, what's up, Boom Boom? What's on your mind, man?
Yeah. Let me just say this. Devin Haney, well, how's the audio coming in? Hold up. How's the audio coming in?
It could be better, but I can hear you, man. Go ahead.
All right. Well, now, audio clear?
Yes, indeed.
All right. So I just want to say that Devin Haney is damned if he do, damned if he don't. Because he's already outgrown the division. Did you see how he looked in last fight's weigh-in? He looked sick. That's basically not a weight cut. That's the body not being able to lose any more weight.
Everybody looks
sick. He belongs at 140.
Benavides, Errol, Spence, they all do.
I hear a siren in the background. What's going on, Boom Boom?
Uh-oh.
Hey, let me call right back, BDA.
All right.
Better service. Let me call right back.
Man. All right, good luck, man. Hopefully he's not driving through a parade. All right, listen.
But
yeah, go ahead, Jimmy.
I mean, come on, everybody gets emaciated when they get down in that weight. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's not that fucking big. but he's been making the weight. He made the weight to fight this fucking Kambosos the second time. Said he felt great, had a great camp. He didn't even complain about the weight. It hasn't been him talking about it. And the fact that he's attacking Paula, Paulie Malignaggi calling her Paulina, right? So obviously he's offended by what's being said. Did he say, yeah, man, I'm outgrowing the weight, dude. What can I do? Has he been even talking about that? No, he's always ran his mouth, said shit. His fans are on Twitter saying Lomachenko docked him, even though that's a physical impossibility. But now all of a sudden it's the time, and someone's going to call him and say, well, he's damned if he doesn't because he's out of the weight. Then what the fuck are we doing here? What was everybody talking about that shit all that time?
Let's wait till Boom Boom calls back. Let's be fair here and see what he's going to say. By the way, speaking of what people said, this is what Devin Haney had to say about Malignaggi. Remember, if you just missed what we said, Malignaggi went ahead and speculated that Haney will avoid Lomachenko by moving up to 140. And so Haney replied with this via Twitter. He said, I'm everything Paulie wish he was. He been hating on me since the beginning. I'm not docking or dodging nobody. I've been wanting to fight Loma since I was his mandatory. Now, Paulina, get my dick out your mouth. So they had to go with the whole, if you talk about me, that means you're obsessed with me stuff. And listen, I understand Devin Haney's response. I mean, I'm not justifying it, but I'm explaining it in the sense that obviously he said Malignaggi did cast aspersions on his character. Therefore, in this scenario, hey, okay, fine. But that being said, Jimmy, he did look bad in the weigh-in. This is a guy that's been using his size advantage on people for the past. Yeah,
he looked bad, but a lot of guys look fucking, really sucked in and ashy, right? A lot of guys do. They fight down Jarrett Hurd. I mean, a bunch of guys do it. If you want to make the fight, if this is the fight you want, then make it right away. Lomachenko will jump into it 2 months after the fucking this coming fight, I bet. If you needed a quick turnaround, you know what I mean? Just cut out of the fight, party it up a little and make the fight. But if you can't, then you don't run your mouth. But I want to say something like right there, that thing, I've been wanting to fight him since I was made as mandatory. What, when you were in camp to fight Santiago, you fucking knucklehead? That's when he was made the mandatory, after he already had signed a deal to fight Santiago, and after which he had shoulder surgery. Was out for 6 to 8 months. In the meantime, before he was even under the knife, Lomachenko Lopez was already signed, but that was pushed off because of COVID. So the whole I was wanting to fight him when you're in training camp. So it's empty words. It's meant to fire up stupid people who just believe it, but don't have the fucking intelligence enough just to check a timetable to see that couldn't have happened. And he's just running his mouth.
All right,
Time to back it up, dude.
Let me get back to Boom here. He's calling back. Let's see if Boom, can you hear me?
Yeah, how am I coming in? Audio's fine?
You're coming in clear, man. Please, the floor is yours.
All right. So like I was saying, I'll respond to Jimmy in a minute, but like I was saying, he's damned if he do, damned if he don't. Because he is ready for 140. Because that last weight cut, it looked rough. He said he felt great, but we all seen it. He didn't look right. So I have no doubt that Devin Haney is very disciplined, and he can make the 135 weight. And then what is he going to do? He's going to rehydrate. He's going to be twice the size of Loma. So is he going to get credit for beating Loma? Because we already know by him taking this fight, he's already oversized and belongs in another division. But he's going to stay for a legacy fight if he stays. It can't be any excuses. Now, he can be affected by the weight cut because it did look bad last time, and he can have a poor performance. But you cannot use that as an excuse either. So it's a double-edged sword. You can stay and possibly be weight trained, or he's going to stay and be rehydrated to a point where it's going to be unfair. He's going to be a weight bully. I do have Devin Haney winning the fight.
Well, listen, I agree that he's in between.
Go ahead.
I agree he's between a rock and a hard place, but that's what happens when you're fighting in a weight division you shouldn't be at. I mean, it's going to happen. He's a big dude for a lightweight division, so fans are always going to be going one way or the other. It is what it is.
And Lomachenko is small for lightweight.
Yeah, ultimately,
he shouldn't be in that division either.
True.
But okay, now because we're talking about the future here, that's the point of the show. So, Boom Boom, do you think Haney will shine in 2023? But do you think he will do it at lightweight or at 140?
So he has unfinished business
35.
at 135. He's already accomplished the biggest accomplishment you can have at 135, undisputed. And on top of that, Loma is praying that he doesn't drop the belt. Because Loma has already passed his prime. He's already on the other side of his career. And if Devin Haney drops the belt, it scatters the belts. Loma would have to literally go collect the belt. He's probably 2, 3, or 4 fights away from becoming undisputed. I'm thinking 3 or 4 fights away.
Brag about?
What was that?
Is that not something to brag about?
Repeat that,
What is he
Jimmy?
going to get on Twitter and say? No, I mean, I don't understand if that's a good thing. I mean, it's like, oh, I'm going to go scatter the belts instead of fighting you, so you don't get the opportunity to win undisputed like I got. And remember, he only got that opportunity to win undisputed because Lomachenko stopped because of what was happening in his homeland. Because remember, that fight was a done deal. Loma jumped right up and said, I'll have my camp there if there's a COVID problem. And it was only changed after January 20th when the Ukraine was attacked. If it wasn't for Ukraine being attacked, Lomachenko would have beat Kambosos and been undisputed. So I just think it'd be a little weaselly now to drop the belts and say, what do you mean not true? What's not true?
If he was not true? Kambosos, he would have been unified. He wouldn't have been undisputed.
Okay, well, he would have had all the belts, and then of course, because what's his name still had the green belt. Yes, okay, so he's WBC, but he still would have had a fight. If Phil Haney to become undisputed, he would have had to fight Lomachenko. But I'm just saying he was given that opportunity to become undisputed. And again, undisputed is and you can't take that away from the kid. And I said at the end of the night he won it, but there's a reason why he wasn't on Ring's top 10 pound for pound list is because his resume is still fucking thin as. Turn it sideways, it's invisible.
Well, that's why, and I think that's why Devin Haney will fight Lomachenko, because he needs validation. He beat everyone that he needed to become undisputed, but it's not enough. So now, once he beat White Jesus, there will be no dispute.
Here we go, White Jesus.
Loma is the only guy he can't fight at. Loma is the only guy he can't fight at 140. So anybody else, he can go to 140. Tank Davis, Ryan, and Tio. He can fight those guys at 140. But Loma will never move up.
Why did the LDBC call him White Jesus? Is he a Jesus freak? I mean, is he even Catholic? I mean, or a Christian? I thought he was an Orthodox Russian.
I believe that come from the privilege. I believe that came from the privilege that Loma has been given. He's been putting on a pedestal.
Okay, boom.
He's been given early title fights.
All right, so now Privilege now is fighting 11 world current world champions in 18 fights, becoming the 3-division world champion faster than anybody in boxing history. That's privilege? Or is that hard work, dedication, and ability? Because you want to label it fucking privilege and put something on it because he was white. He's Ukrainian. It's not like he relates to people in the United States. That's just bullshit. There was no privilege.
Look.
In fact, if it was privilege, he would have been the highest paid fighter. No, that was Bud Crawford. So he wasn't treated with privilege or top rank. If it was privilege, he wouldn't have been put in against Teofimo Lopez, the hottest puncher at 135.
Okay, well, let me respond to that, Jimmy. Because so we have in the amateurs, the loss to Robson in the amateurs, it was overturned. Okay, hey, sometimes refs get it wrong, and it's not overturned, but this one was overturned. Okay, he got thrown back into the Olympics. And then the second fight with Salido, you admitted they pressured the referee to come out and give a statement because of his bad performance. Why is it so much?
Wait. No. Don't put that on me, brother. I never said they pressured him. When did I ever say they pressured him? The referee wasn't pressured. His father's the president of the Texas Boxing Commission. No, he came out and said it on his own because he got so much bad press. He was crucified in the press for such a horrible and egregious performance.
That's pressure.
It was pressure because of his performance. His horrible performance brought on the pressure, and he addressed it. And he said, yes, if I had to do it over again, it was, what did he say? Wasn't definitely my best performance because he let so many low blows go. It was insane. Did you see the fight?
And yeah, you can't do that to White Jesus. That goes to my point. And then when he lost
into White Jesus,
what was it? It was a shoulder
you didn't
injury.
make a point. The only point you made is you want to make it racial and you want to say it's fucking privilege when it has nothing to do with privilege. When
listen. I gotta say, Black Muhammad, Shakur Stevenson got away with a whole bunch of low blows. So it goes both ways, man. I don't understand why certain organizations, particularly Top Rank, decide to try to shove certain fighters down their throats. Like Shakur Stevenson doesn't sell, he's not entertaining, and yet they treat him like the A side. I think they believe he's going to be some sort of a Floyd Mayweather star, and that's not going to happen.
Mr.
So
B, yeah.
what I'm saying is, you got Black Muhammad, you got White Jesus, Black Muhammad. Next, we're going to have fucking Chinese Buddha or whatever. I'm just expecting a whole lot of new shining, illuminating figures coming out. So, listen, we got to move on to another
It's privilege to get punched in the dick.
Well, let me just say this: Shakur Stevens is top ranked next guy. They have that guy to defeat Loma and take over. So I think they're trying to set up a passing of the torch fight with Loma and Shakur, because Shakur is top ranked next guy.
Some people are saying that. Well, listen, we're gonna move on to our phone call, man. All right, take it easy. Boom, boom out. There you go. Certainly riling up. We're supposed to focus on several fighters. We already spent 15 minutes here, but let's go to the phone calls here. Let's see what people have to say about that. 830, you're on the air. 830, what's on your mind?
The fighter that's going to be coming out is Johnny Beck. He's going to beat up Jermell, and also Bam's going to be on top after Roman Gonzalez fights Estrada. I hope one of them. I hope they all fight each other, and there'll be a king in that division. But so Johnny Beck is the guy, though.
So you're saying the guy that's going to shine in 2023 will definitely be Johnny Beck, whose last name I don't even try to pronounce. But you think Johnny Beck, the Beast, is gonna do that?
Yeah, it's like the next man up. You know what I mean? We can't live in the past.
But let me ask you this, caller. How is he? Because in order to shine, he's got to beat somebody, right? Somebody of note. Some people are already saying that he's being avoided. So how do you think he's gonna do that? Like, who can he fight right now, or obviously next year, to attain that shine?
Well, we all know he ain't gonna fight. He ain't gonna fight Jermell because that's side of the street shit. But you know what? He's gonna probably fight his mentor, and that would be the best route to get his name up.
Interesting.
Triple
All right. G. What? Sorry, caller. What should we call you? Like, what's your nickname or?
Oh, I'm the Catman. I'm the Catman because anybody can get it.
All right, Catman. I'm gonna start writing down these predictions that people make. Just to keep tabs on them, see what happens. So you're saying Janovic will shine in 2023. Anything else you want to say?
Will shine. Mm-hmm. And I'd also have to say this: from 112 to 122, that these are going to be the best divisions in boxing because there ain't no fucking around.
There you go.
There's no fucking around from 122 to 112.
Well, there you go. I think I agree with that.
You have to appreciate that.
I agree with you. Didn't appreciate the potty mouth there, but I think I agree with you. All right, listen. Anything else you want to say before we move on?
Hey, yeah. Also, one more prediction: the PVC is gonna go to Amazon.
All right, PVC. I'm gonna write it down. Jeff Bezos is gonna get his steroid biceps around that. All right, man.
All right, hey, you have a good day.
You too. Thank you for calling in, Cat, man. Take it easy.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 570. 570. You're on the air. 570. What's on your mind?
Am I on the air?
You're absolutely on the air, man.
Oh, all right. Thank God. All right. This is Azov Battalion Augustus. And, I'm going to go with Biolab Lomachenko for the dub.
Uh-huh. So you're saying he's going to shine in 2023?
I mean, how can he not? I mean, his whiteness alone, it just shines like the brightest of stars, boys.
You know what, man? You're making a compelling case right there, man.
Hey, listen, you can't argue it. Look, man, I mean, the guy, sure, he's had a bunch of amateur fights. Sure, he's the most talented guy I've ever seen. Blah, 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 blah. I mean, he's so fucking white. How can he not lose, you know?
I agree. In fact, I don't even believe he lost against Teofimo Lopez. I think they made a mistake with the cards and that they actually were going to give it to Lomachenko because of his whiteness. But then something happened, something unforeseen, unexpected. Yeah.
Right, and it's just stereotypical colonizer shit. He's going to rewrite the history books. He's so fucking white. Look, we all know what it is, okay?
Hey, caller, break it down. How can we decolonize boxing?
Well, I mean, listen, being a black Israelite like I am, I think I have the right juice to speak on things of this nature. You know what I'm saying? And you know, people just really need to go back to school. You know, when I speak to Brother Haney on the phone, and you know, we just chop it up about being black Israelites and how bad white people are. You know, that's where it starts, boys. You got to go back to the roots. Go to the fucking roots. Disregard that there's open air slave trade going on that happened under the Obama admin. Disregard all of that. Fuck all that.
Well, caller, you got to, you know, both. Well, you too, Mr. B. You know, they'd be calling him still white hype, but because he's already has so many accolades, you know, 3 times, like I said, faster than anyone. So they have to go from white hype to white Jesus, but they have to get white has to be a part of the fucking, you know, the sling. It's just, of course, absurd.
Because these people, and I'm talking about. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. These people, not playing, but seriously, man, like, dude. It's they have no valid points to make. They have no articulate things to say, so they have to go to the lowest base level, which is what? It's just fucking race, right?
Nigga, what?
So, I mean, look. Do we say what?
Nigga, what?
That's what the fuck I'm saying.
All right. Well, listen, caller, you made some salient points, but we do have to move on to another call, man. Anything else you want to say before we move on?
Hey, just
what's his name?
Just real quick. So, you say that again?
What's your name again? I didn't catch it.
It's Augustus.
Oh, Augustus. Okay.
Well, go ahead, Augustus. So, make your point, please.
Look, I'm trying real hard to really get into boxing. I'm more of an MMA guy, but I'm just finding it real difficult to spend any of my money or really invest any of my time because these people never fight each other when they're supposed to. It's all this political bullshit games, and then when fights do happen, I don't want to watch people just throw a jab, clinch, throw a jab, clinch, throw a jab, clinch. It's so fucking boring. There's no entertainment value whatsoever. So all these people that, you don't understand the sweet science and you just don't get it. It's just, it's slick style. Fuck all that. Nobody wants to watch that shit.
That's right. Well, listen, caller, you're preaching to the choir here. Listen, we do have to move on, Augustus, but thank you for your call. Call back next time, right, man?
Yeah, hey, listen. Hey, brother, I got to go. Listen, I'm taking up too much of my time. I'll talk to you later, okay?
All right, sorry about that. All right, take it easy, man. All right, that was Augustus, and I wrote down his prediction. Don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. I don't even know if we're up to 50 likes right now. Let's get to 50 likes, at least, just to start off. Let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 520. 520, you're on the air. 520, what's on your mind?
Yo, how's it going, man? This is Zero Cool on Discord.
Zero.
To answer the questions on which boxer will shine in 2023, I'd say I like Richard Torres. I believe that's his first name, from the heavyweight. I think he's, a nice, up and coming, guy. I also like Bam Rodriguez. I think Stephen Fulton is going to go undisputed. So he's going to shine pretty good too. Besides that, I really hope we get to see Ortiz versus Boots Ennis. I think that would be a great fight. One that would, everybody would want to watch. I did want to commentate one thing on the Boom Boom call. It's ridiculous because he's saying that there's privilege, and let's just compare Loma to Clarissa Shields, who really has privilege. She had 65 fights at amateurs. Loma had nearly 500 or 500 fights. So how are you going to compare them? So of course Loma should have had an easier road to the belts, and Clarissa Shields, in my opinion, would be privileged, being able to fight with those many championships within 13 fights. Mm-hmm. So I mean, he's very biased. He doesn't take that into consideration and things like that. But in order for Devin Haney to get the respect that he wants, he's gonna have to fight at least two and beat two of the other top contenders, whether it's Ryan, Tank Davis, Shakur Stevenson, or Loma. He definitely needs to fight Loma for sure. And one of the other three, even Cruz, would be a good win under his resume. But if he says he's good for 135, even though he looked like a skeleton, then let him defend his titles. Boom Boom was saying that he defeated everybody to get to where he's at, but in reality, the WBC was given to him. He didn't fight nobody for it, and he fought Kambosos that would have easily lost to Teofimo Lopez or Lomachenko. So it's, like, who did he really fight? And that's why a lot of people don't have as much respect for his undisputed championship, because it was a very easy route to go to. Mm-hmm. But you don't take away anything from him, because he is champ. He needed to do what he needed to do to get to there. And it's not entirely his fault that, certain matches weren't made. But now that he's on top, he should give us the Lomachenko fight. That would be the best matchup that he could do for us.
Listen,
much
cool,
love
man.
and respect to everybody.
Thank you, man. I got your prediction down. We'll keep an eye on it in 2023, see if Richard Torres ends up becoming a shining star. But anyway, thank you, Zero Cool, for your call, and we'll catch you in the next one, all right, man? Take it easy.
Bam Rodriguez as well.
Bam Rodriguez. All right, let me write that down. All right, take it easy, man. Yeah, don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. Let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 760. 760, you're on the air. 760, what's on your mind?
What's up, BDA or Bucho? This is Don Chingazos, Don Vergazos, and when it comes to Haney, he looked like a skeleton on the weigh-in. He was looking like that South Park character, Starvin' Marvin. He looked really, really, really drained. So I expect him to move to 140 on his next fight. And I don't expect him to fight Lomachenko. And the reason I don't expect him to is because Lomachenko is a southpaw, and he's very slick. It's a hard style to beat. And the reason it's a hard style to beat for Haney is because Haney's biggest weapon is the jab. And it's very hard to establish a jab against a southpaw like Lomachenko. Mm-hmm. So and his trainer knows this. Everybody on Haney's team is aware of this. Everybody knows this. And as for who's gonna shine in 2023, I expect Bam Rodriguez to shine because he's been doing great lately. Mm-hmm. He's been staying active, beating former champions. And I expect Richard Torres to shine because he's a upcoming prospect with a lot of talent. And I also expect Virgil Ortiz to shine in 2023. Because he's very skillful, very well-rounded, and a lot of power.
All right, I got you down for all of that, man. And Don Chingazos, thank you for gracing us with your call, man. And we'll catch you in the next one, all right, man? Take care.
All right. Later, video.
Later, man. All right, let's go to 480 here. 480, you're on the air. 480, what's on your mind?
Yes, hello.
Yes, you're on the air.
Okay. Yes, the fighter I think that will shine in 2023 will be Errol Spence Jr. No bias. I think both Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. are really great fighters. But I just believe Spence's accuracy, Spence's basic fundamentals, which don't require a lot of movement, will get him to fight. And in terms of Devin Haney, I think a lot of people, misunderstand his style when it comes to various opponents. Against southpaws, he doesn't really fight the same way he does against orthodox fighters. I would say the Devin Haney best weapon against Loma will be the right hand. And personally, I do believe Haney will win the fight, but Loma's a great fighter. It's a 50-50 shot. Hell, even 60-40 in favor of Lomachenko. But I think regardless of who wins, it will be a great fight.
Interesting. Well, okay, so what do we call you? What's your nickname? Because I'm writing this down.
Roger 67.
Roger 67. Okay, I'm glad you didn't add 2 more numbers to that. That would have been dirty. So I got you down for Errol Spence Jr. You think he beats Crawford? Anything else you want to say, Roger? Any other predictions?
Well, I guess in terms of the Errol Spence versus Crawford fight, to add more to it, people are I think there's a misconception that Crawford is a lateral movement fighter at 147. I believe he was better at lateral movement at 135 and 140, and I think he sticks to more of an inside fighting game at 147. So when I picture the fight between Spence and Crawford, I believe it's going to be a war. And it's a matter of who wants it more. And that's why I believe it's more of a 50-50 fight rather than many majority of people saying...
All right, sorry? I got you. No, sorry. It's something was playing there in the background. But anyway, I got that prediction down. I got your info on that. And we'll see what happens in 2023. All right, Roger, thank you for your call. We'll catch you on the next one. Take care.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to 214 here. 214, you're on the air. 214, what's on your mind?
As for I don't know how many fighters. Are we supposed to only pick one fighter? Or
whoever you want. Whichever fighter you want to go with.
I think Regis Prograis will be the fighter that will shine in 2020. Yeah.
Interesting.
I think he's going to beat. I think he might.
Go ahead.
But yeah, I think he might. I think he's going to beat Jose Zepeda, and I think he's going to go on to beat Jose Ramirez next year, and possibly knock him out because Jose Ramirez isn't as his chin. I don't think is as good as people think it is, and I think he's going to have another fight. Maybe he might even fight that Puerto Rican guy that everybody says is a killer. I forgot what's his name at 140.
Are you talking about the actual killer? Are you talking about the actual killer, Subriel Matias? Huh? Are you talking about the actual killer, Subriel Matias?
Yeah, the Subriel Matias guy. I think he's going to fight. If Subriel Matias even beats his next opponent, I think if he beats his next opponent, I think he's going to fight Subriel Matias too.
All right, interesting. What should we call you? What's your name?
Yes. Okay.
Caller.
All right.
Caller.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. What do we call you? Because I'm writing your prediction down.
Boxing learner.
Boxing learner. All right. You said Prograis is going to shine and he's going to take over the 140-pound division. All right. Anything else you want to say?
Yeah. I think that all these there's a lot of talented guys at 140 and 135. I just think that hopefully next year they'll start fighting each other.
Absolutely,
the whole merry-go-round. Add everybody.
Yeah. Hopefully we all agree
nobody.
on that. All right. Boxing learner, thank you for your call. We'll catch you in the next one, man. Take it easy.
All
right, let's go to 510. 510, you're on the air. 510, what's on your mind?
Y'all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, man.
All right. The fighter that I'm think is going to shine in 2023 is Hiroto Kyoguchi.
Oh.
Especially since this year he has a fight lined up with the WBC champion for the 2-belt unification November 2021.
That's
November 1st. And I think he's going to beat him. And then coincidentally on the same card, they have the WBO champion fighting. So I'm assuming they're lining him up for a 3-belt unification. So there's probably going to be an undisputed at 108 next year. And I think Kyoguchi is going to take it all.
Well, listen, first of all, I'm just glad somebody's mentioned that fight, the early November fight between Kyoguchi and Kenshiro, because I do think that one's going to be interesting. And you're right, man. I think Kyoguchi is a guy that a lot of people are sleeping on just because he fights at the lower weight division. So who is this again? You're the caller?
You can put Ash.
Ash. All right. So I got you down for Kyoguchi shining.
Especially after what he did to Benavides in his last fight.
Yeah, he's really coming into his own, man. Very tight, very compact fighter. Ash, anything else you want to say before we move on?
Nah, that was it.
All right, thank you for your call, man. Take it easy out there.
Hey.
All right, let's go to 631. 631, you're on the air. 631, what's on your mind?
All right, yeah. So with the trend of very left field fighters for shining this year, next year, I'm gonna go with Junto Nakatani. I think personally he's the best guy at his weight class right now. And no offense to all the BAM lovers out there, but I think if a fight between those two happened, I think Junto would be kind of the clear winner. Besides that, the only thing I could really see stopping him is maybe Kazuto Ioka potentially at the higher weight class. I don't really know the names that well, so I'm not going to try to say them. It's Superfly, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
All right, so that's the only fight I think potentially could be a problem for him. But besides that, he's young, he's very big for both weights, and I'm just going to go for him.
Now, it's interesting you say that, caller. First of all, what's your name? Or what should we call you?
I'm just going to, Ray.
Ray? All right, Ray. We just had a caller, the one previous to you, just the one right before you said Kyoguchi is going to be moving up after his fight and possibly take on Nakatani because they are fighting on the same card. Do you think Nakatani would beat Kyoguchi?
I haven't seen enough of him to make a decision on that, but personally, I don't think he's going to stay at the weight much longer anyway, so I think he's going to move up. I'm pretty sure they said, he had plans to move up with, since he had the WBO belt, he'd try to go after Kazuto Ioka, or I guess now the winner of Kazuto Ioka versus Josh Franco.
Right, yeah, the Japanese certainly have a lot of options right now than those lower weight classes. Well, listen, Ash, anything else you want to say before we move on?
Ray, and have a good night.
All right, Ray. Thank you for calling in, man. Well, I got your prediction now. Take it easy. All right. Well, listen, let's get back to the panel here. Shout out to all the callers. The phone lines are still open if you want to call. Shout out to Puro Sur for his contribution with the Super Chat. He says, fuck the promoters, especially Golden Boy Promotions. Oh, I thought Puro was a Golden Boy Promotions guy. I don't know if he's kidding or not. But shout out to Puro for his contribution. Really appreciate it, Puro, and shout out to you. All right, let me get back here to the people. Gonzalo, you want to say something?
Yeah, I would also throw in the lower weights a fighter that, in my opinion, is probably going to continue to look good, possibly shine. Fernando Puma Martinez, he's relentless. The guy that just beat Jerwin and Cajas twice.
Right. Yeah, that's true, man. I mean, he's in a red-hot division. We've said it before. Oh, hold on a second. I forgot the Plutonium Loach's super chat here. Hold on a second. Let me scroll up. Shout out to Plutonium 2 for his contribution to Super Chat. He says, Boom Boom guy named his prostate massager Haney and Boom Boom's himself. Come on. What the fuck is he? Plutonium Loach always comes out with the most outrageous comments, man. I can't
You guys
condone,
come up with crazy shit.
I mean, I can't condone this type of hijinks and this type of salty language. Very lascivious. All right, listen. Let's get back. He's laughing in the chat. For Martinez Gonzalo. Martinez Gonzalo, that's a guy in there that's in the division. I mean, we've said it before. You got Tanaka in there. You got Francisco Rodriguez, who's going to be fighting later this year. You still got Sorong Visa. You got Bam Rodriguez. You got the aforementioned Martinez. You got Ioka. You got Roman Gonzalez, and of course Estrada. I mean, it's just a jam-packed division. And Martinez is he with the PBC though, or is he just fighting with like Benavides and all those guys? Like he's got some sort of a deal through his promoter, and he fights in the PBC. But he's a free agent.
His promoter is El Chino Maidana. What's his name? Maidana.
Marcos Maidana. Yeah.
Marcos Maidana. Yeah. So I don't know what's he's the middleman. I don't know what's the real arrangement there, but yeah.
All right. Well, listen. Let's move on here continue on rather with the 2023 predictions. Who will shine in 2023? Let's go. I'm curious to get your thoughts on this guy, fellas. Let's go to somebody that Devin Haney could fight if he does move up to 140 and if he does stay with Top Rank. And I'm talking about Teofimo Lopez, the guy who used to be the prodigal son, now on the comeback trail. just got a victory over Ocampa. A lot of people are saying that, yep, he's back. What do you guys think is next for Teofimo Lopez 2023? Can he shine in 2023?
I don't know, but I wonder if it'll be lascivious.
All right, hold on. I haven't done this. I never done this to Jimmy, but I'm going to kick him off the panel. How do I do it? Hold on. Seriously,
you
Jimmy.
got me
come
again.
on.
I'm just saying, every show, and that was the word. I don't like lascivious, huh?
All right, Jimmy. I'm going to kick you out, man. I'm warning you.
All right,
listen.
All right, I'll stop. Go, Gonzalo.
Well, I'm not sure he's going to fight, but it's not going to be a Pedro Campa. And it's probably going to be an eliminator, or I don't know who's got the belts right now. Are they all over the place? Josh Taylor.
I think. So no. Josh Taylor.
That would be a good fight because
Gonzalo, Taylor dropped. I think he dropped every belt but one, I believe.
Okay, that's kind of a smart move too. You know why? Because if you have all the belts, it becomes problematic to defend them and meet all your requisites with the sanctioning bodies. But yeah, he would most likely fall in line to compete for one of them titles. I would expect him to fight a better opponent than Pedro Campa, though. And yeah, that division is stacked. And he looked good. He looked good last fight. The power carried. He knocked out Campa with the jab, with the push jab. Basically a 1-2-1. And yeah, power carried. He looked good on his feet. Counter puncher. Was avoiding shots. But we got to see him against a better opponent.
Now, it's interesting, though. He's going to be fighting Pedraza in November or December, I believe. I got to check that out, verify the date. But it's a decent matchup. Obviously, Lopez, I think, would be the favorite, even though Pedraza is a complicated fighter. Wouldn't you guys have rather seen him fight another undefeated guy like Barbosa or something?
Yeah, Lopez?
Yes.
Teofimo? Yeah, I would have liked to see him fight Barbosa. Yeah, absolutely. But he's fighting Pedraza instead, right?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, Pedraza didn't look half bad last time. And the kid, it's not like he quits, you know what I mean? He's been matched. Pedraza, he's got losses, but he fights a lot of decent competition. I mean, it's a hell of a lot. He could do a lot worse than Pedraza. Is it the fight that I'd want to see? I mean, is it better fights? Of course. But again, he's only one removed from losing. So I'm not going to bust on him too hard. I'm much more, upset about something like, fucking Benavides fighting Yugasaki or Yugoslavia. I'm just saying that's the type of shit. We're going to get to that. That's true. Okay. But yes, that's my thoughts.
All right, but let's get an early prediction then, because in order to shine in 2023, he most likely has to win in 2022. Otherwise, that becomes a little harder to do. How do you guys see the Pedraza fight going?
I think the Pedraza poses a lot of problems similar to maybe like a Cambosos, but they're doing a little bit of a triangle theory where Teofimo Lopez beat Richard Comey and Richard Comey drew with Pedraza. I think that Teofimo Lopez at this weight punches more powerfully than a smaller Tank Davis. So I'm also doing a little bit of triangle theory. I think he knocks him out.
Whoa.
But to do that, he's got to get inside his wheelhouse. Because obviously the dude is taller. Well, not taller, at least he's lanky. I know Pedraza's lanky. You know what Teofimo said about tall, lanky fighters. He doesn't look good against them. But definitely, he has to get on him. He has to get on him, but with that punching power, he knocks out Pedraza. And he's going to have to in order to shine.
That's right. He did say no more tall fighters, and he is fighting a tough fighter, perhaps indicating that he's no longer in the driver's seat when it comes to Top Rank. Jimmy, what do you think? Does Lopez beat Pedraza?
That's why I believe Pedraza will. It's not just to give me at all, because Pedraza is a tough, well-schooled fighter. He's been in some wars. Well, not too many wars, but he's a little long in the tooth as far as his fighting skills. I think he's on the back nine. But to like what Gonzalo said, he's long. He's got length. So Tio's going to have to show a wrinkle, right, to get in there and, obviously, put it this way, if he does starch Pedraza, stops him, that'll go a long way, as far as I'm concerned, of whether, we get that type of feared fighter. Because remember when he was going into that Lomachenko fight, there was a lot of fear around him. It's just crazy how much that Kambosos took the shine off. People forget about how feared he was because of his punching power, because it was quick punching power. So if he takes Pedraza out, I think that'll go a long way into reestablishing him as a serious, guy to take very serious.
I mean, like Gonzalo said, though,
stumbling all over.
Tank Davis stopped him because Pedraza decided to fight him on the inside. When Pedraza wants to stay on the outside, it's very hard to really put a hurting on him. I mean, he went 12 with Ramirez. He did go 12 with Cepeda, and I know Cepeda's not some killer, but he does hit harder than people think. And he just got through Comey when it looked early on like it was going to be shaky. So the guy can take a shot. So if Lopez is going to beat him, he's going to have to either walk into his wheelhouse, which I don't think he can do because he didn't do it against Nakatani, or he hits him with one shot, one-hitter quitter like he did with Comey. Well, it wasn't quite a one-hitter quitter, but you know what I mean. So we'll see what happens with Lopez, but it is interesting, man. Like Jimmy, like you said, this guy used to be, after Lomachenko, man, the world was his oyster. And it all just dissipated, it dissolved. But he's got a good chance. Top rank still, they had him back. He got a tune-up back earlier this year against Ocampa. Some people certainly feel like he's back to his old form. I'm still I don't know, man. I think what we saw against Kambosos was the old Lopez, the same old Lopez. Just, he fought a stupid fight, but that's what happened against a guy like Kambosos. So I'm curious to see how he looks against Pedraza. That's for sure.
Kambosos, honestly, I think he was so caught up in everything going on in his personal life and the promotion, and he just never took him serious. He probably half-hearted. You can do motions. You can go to training camp and look like you're training hard. You can just make it look, but you're not. You're just not. Your head's not in it. You're not pushing yourself. You're not doing the things you need to do. You don't get that hunger. And that's all it takes, man. Getting over the confident and figuring I'm not going to have, skipped on his road work and then figured I'm going to fucking take this little fucking Australian out anyways. That's so right. Why should I, kill myself on these hills? I'm not going to run stairs today because I'm not going to, do I need to run stairs to knock out that fucking, kid? So I think a lot of those things happened, and once he went in there and then it didn't, shot his load and didn't kick him out, I think he was burning. I think his legs were burning and he just couldn't muster up the power. So, and again, it was at a lower weight. That's why he's at 140. So he just couldn't muster up the power, and it cost him.
And may I say, everyone's talking about the Deontay Wilder Helenius fight, whether it was a dive. Here's the one I'm focusing on, and my own little spin on conspiracies. I don't think Teofimo Lopez, I don't buy the whole hole in the esophagus or whatever the fuck he had. I don't buy it. I don't think his injury was as serious as he claimed after the fight. I think it's just PR. They're trying to save face. I don't buy it. And I'm not going to get into it now, but that's all I want to say about that. Hey, all right, listen.
It is suspect.
Listen,
Definitely is.
Absolutely, man, absolutely. The phone lines are still open. Hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. I was going to get to Benavides next, whether he's going to shine in 2023, but we got a phone call incoming. And let's get to it.
And Bucho, BDA, real quick, hold on. From what I read about that injury you're talking about, just to put some weight behind that, I heard it's not just a quick fix. Like, that's something can become an issue. So, you know what I mean? Like, that would imagine be a problem going forward. So that's just another reason why I think, I agree with you. But anyways, go to the caller.
All right, 760, you're on the air. 760, what's on your mind?
What's up, BDA? This is Don Chingazos again. And when it comes to Teofimo Lopez, I expect him to shine on 2023. And I expect him to take the IBF route. And he'll probably become IBF champion soon, the way I see it. And look, we got Josh Taylor with the WBO championship. That's the one he kept. And we got Puello, the Dominican guy, with the WBA championship already. Mm-hmm. And we got Prograis versus Sean Cepeda fighting for the WBC championship. So the IBF is vacant right now. And Teofimo Lopez was a former IBF champion at 135. And Pedraza was a former IBF champion too. So I'm thinking they're taking the IBF route with Teofimo Lopez, and I expect him to shine in 2023 and maybe become IBF champion. That's my prediction as to when it comes to Teofimo Lopez. And I think his power did show at 140 because he KO'd Campa with a jab, like Gonzalo said.
Yeah, I think the power's still there, man. That's for sure. And that's interesting that you mentioned that the IBF route. I think that might be something that the matchmakers and promoters are looking at as a high possibility for him to get him back on top in some big fights in 2023. All right, Don Chingasos, I updated your list. Anything else you want to say before we move on?
Yeah, and since the next topic is David Benavides, I think David Benavides is gonna do great in 2023. I don't know if he's going to become champion because, I mean, Canelo has all the belts. And unless Canelo vacates the belts, that's the only way Benavides is going to become champion at 168. Or unless the WBC orders Benavides as mandatory for Canelo.
Mm-hmm.
And he beats Canelo, that's the only way. But if that was to happen, I expect Canelo to beat Benavides. He has too much upper body movement, defense. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. And nice, good show, BDA, and keep it up.
Thank you, Don Chingasos. Thank you for calling in, man. Take it easy out there. All right. Let's get down to it, guys. If you hit the like, by the way, hit the like. Really helps us out. Let's get down to it. David Benavides, what do you guys think? Will he shine?
Yeah, Benavides is a good fighter, and at 68, the hand speed has been looking spectacular. But he's also one of them weight bullies that looks real bad on the scale. But since he's young, he can get away with it. It's like when you're young, you can party, you can do a bunch of shit, and the next day you're all right. If you're an older man, it's gonna be harder to cut the weight and to have them recuperative abilities. But for now, he's all right. But a couple years, man, he's not gonna be able to make 68. He should actually be fighting at 75 because at 75, all those advantages that he has with the punches and bunches would pretty much be on equal terms with everybody else, like the Bivels of the world. But I know we're not talking about that. We're talking about the advantages that he has at 68, which are the ability to throw a lot of punches against guys that are smaller. Yeah, man, he's winning. He's beating these guys. He's outshining these guys. Literally, he's doing better. He's more gifted than them in the sense that he's bigger and he can get away with these things fighting smaller men. So the only thing we have to see him face a power puncher that after he does shoe shiny and throwing a 19 punch combination. I mean, if you throw a lot and you remain in the pocket, you're there to get hit as well. So who can he fight? He did fight Romero Angulo. That dude got power. I think he's just going to continue winning. But the fights that I do want to watch is him versus Caleb Plant. And also Jermall Charlo. He's been inactive, but a lot of people are wanting to see him fight him. So why not? Let's get it.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned that, Gonzalo. It's he definitely has the ability. Well, actually, let's Jimmy go ahead. Jimmy, what do you think? You want to piggyback off what Gonzalo said about Benavides? Or?
Yeah, no, and what I would want to see him fight Plant too, except he's fighting somebody Plant beat. You know what I mean? He's fighting Ugasaka, whatever the hell you say that dude's name.
Uzcategui.
Yugoslav. Yeah, Uzcategui. Yeah. Come on. Seriously? What's he going to be, 14-1? He hasn't looked good in forever. So it's like, Jesus Christ, dude. You talk to yourself, well, not him, but his management priced himself out of the Plant fight. So by the time you fight Ugataki, it's going to be almost 2 years separated. He's going to fight once this year. Is he going to fight just once next year? Oh, no, it might be two because he's fighting, I guess. Is he fighting Ugasaki this year? But or was it next year?
Yeah, I can. Let me check that out, Gonzalo. You know the answer to that?
Not sure. I think it might be in January or it might be this year. It's coming pretty soon. It was announced. Maybe January. I'm not sure.
Okay, yeah, I just checked it out.
Next year, so it'll probably be his only fight for the whole year.
All right, let me just, it's January, according to ESPN.
Jeez. So he's gonna fight once this year, and that might be his only fight of all next year, because things are only going to get worse at the PBC if things are going the way they're going at Showtime. I mean, Fox is out of it. This was their last calendar year, so I don't even think they'll be doing pay-per-views over there. So I don't see him. How is he going to get slots unless he does something? So I don't know. It's strange. I would have liked to see him fight more often and fight better competition, but I'm not excited at all for this Ugateki fight.
Let me tell you something, man. Uzcategui is a decent fighter, and this goes to show you how thin Benavides' resume has been so far, that Uzcategui would be the best guy or the most durable guy he's fought in a while. But here's the problem with Uzcategui at this point in his career. He has not had a good win in ages. Now, you guys always talk about, or we always talk about rather, in this show about how you need to keep fighting to stay sharp. It's not enough to just stay in the gym. You got to fight. And you got to fight good opposition, unless you go the Jermall Charlo route where you're fighting no-hopers, and then finally you step up and whoops, all of a sudden you can't turn on the afterburners. Check this out. After he lost to Caleb Plant in 2019, and he didn't look all that bad in that fight. He did bust up Caleb Plant down the stretch, or throughout the fight rather. He takes on Roberto Valdez, who's 10-9-1. Then he loses to Lionel Thompson, he's a workhorse. He's a guy that he's never going to be in the top 10 pound-for-pound list, but you show up in there unprepared, he's going to expose you. Lionel Thompson looked good. Uzcategui looked bad. He comes back, takes on Josue Obando, 20 wins, 28 losses. Then takes on some other dude that's 9-4. And then finally, his last fight this May took on a guy that's 21-19. Now, come on. You think that's going to prepare him for David Benavides? This is...
Not at all.
This is bizarre. So let's just hope David Benavides. Listen, I saw the trailer for Creed 3. Couldn't finish the thing, especially when the rapping came on. But I watched the trailer, and David Benavides in it. So hey, maybe that's going to help his Q rating. But he needs to stay active. Call me crazy, guys. I think 2023 is finally the year, whether it's with the PBC or not. I think 2023 is the year where they match him up with Caleb Plant or Jermall Charlo. Because otherwise, the PBC and his career is gonna become a joke. I predict this is the year they put him in there against one of those guys.
Right. And Mr. BDA, to the point too, like you can train too. A lot of people don't realize it's still different. You can to train in the gym, but to train and cut weight and fight at your weight, because he can train at 190 all the time, go to the gym and hit bags and blah blah blah. But is he melting his body down to 168? You got to get used to that. If not, it becomes such a foreign thing to you. Your body doesn't react to it well. So just
that's
one camp
point, man.
draining down to that is not a good thing. Just isn't.
And I've heard Jose Benavides, they've asked him, how about a move to 175? And he goes, yeah, a move to 175, it's possible if nobody wants to fight. So he's considering 175. In fact, I think he said, hey, listen, I'm still keeping Benavides in the gym, see if he can make 168. I think he said something along those lines. So I don't know, man. Like Gonzalo said, too, he was intimating that maybe Benavides' time at 168 might come to an end. You never know. So we'll see what happens. But shout out to everybody in the chat. Don't forget to hit the like. See, we got more phone calls here. Don't forget, make your predictions for 2023, and then we got to move on. All right, fellas? So be precise, be concise, make it shine. Just like some of these guys in 2023. Let's go to 917. 917, you're on the air. 917, what's on your mind?
Hey, yo, check it out. DDA, how's it going? Straight out of Brooklyn.
Oh,
What's
Brooklyn
up?
In the house. What's up? You talked to that guy about the thing there that we talked about?
I'm about to go acapella. Yo, 2023, you gon' see. Devin Haney, he gon' duck like a duck. He gon' run. Lomachenko, he gon' have some fun. He gon' take all the belts at 135, and at 140, we gon' see who's alive. Because Teofimo, he a live dog, too. He ma come through with his crew. Hit him with the left hook. Woo, woo. Devin Haney, I don't even know. And back, damn, I lost our flow. Shit.
Hey, that's not good, man. Hey, if you're gonna be in front of all the brothers out there, doing the freestyling, you can't lose your composure like that, man. What the fuck?
Yo, let me pick it back up. Yo, 168, David Benavides go take Nello out for a date. At 170, we gonna see. But I know in heavyweight, it's Tyson Fury.
There you go.
B Rabbit.
You want me to write all that down, or?
If you could, yeah.
Shit. All right, then you're gonna have to restart because I forgot everything you said already. I was immersed.
I've just walked into the net house or something. I just walked into the fucking net house.
Yeah, listen. All right, well, listen, caller. Who's gonna shine in 2023, man? Other than yourself.
Somewhere, some project is missing the fucking lunatic.
2023. Damn, man, it's tough though. You know what I'm saying? I think Wilder's gonna slowly creep back up. I think Devin Haney, if he can get past Loma, will just keep shining. And it's tough, bro. It's tough. We don't know what's about to happen. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, listen. We're gonna see in 2023. One person that's definitely gonna shine is you if you keep working on your rhymes. Because again, you can't be going around fumbling and stumbling. But we'll certainly see what happens and stay black, right, bro?
Take it easy, BDA.
Take it easy. You too, man. Brooklyn in the house. All right. Don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like.
What's his? Hey, BDA. What's his MC name? MC Mutterer. I mean, come on.
Come on. Come on. We got Stu. He didn't appreciate that.
Mumbling and stuttering and muttering. Get on with it.
Oh, man. All right, let's go to another phone call here real quick. Let's go.
How you doing, boys? Right, man.
Go. What's up, Stu? Let me just get to the predictions here. Some people, we're talking about Stu. We're talking about who's going to shine in 2023. And we're just going to the list of fighters. Let me get to two phone calls here. Let's go to 214. 214, you're on the air. 214, what's on your mind?
Oh, yeah. I'm talking about David Benavides. I think that him fighting Uzcategui, it's not too bad because Uzcategui is a former champion, so why not? And Caleb's getting a lot of praise for knocking out somebody who's 39 years old but was a former champion too. So I don't. Yeah, people don't think that Darrell is old, man. Darrell's old now. And he's not the old fighter that started late. He started way back, and he has a lot of fights.
That's a good point, Cole.
I mean, Anthony Darrell is the only one out of the brothers that's actually got a fucking heart. I mean, that's one thing Anthony Darrell has got a heart. I mean Darrell is the worst for it. I mean, if there's a way out of a fight, Andre Darrell will get out of it quickly. I mean, just doesn't want it. Do you know what? Andre Darrell is probably. When I first started seeing these two guys fight, I thought he was more talented than Andre Ward. To be fair, I just thought Andre Ward's got a bit more about him. He's strong. He's tough as they come, and he's canny, and he's a bit like B-Hop. He's a spoiler. But I thought Darrell was very talented, but he just doesn't have the heart. But I thought his brother did. I mean, he showed quite a few times that he's got the dog in him. He's just not. Anthony Darrell's just not as talented as Andre, but he's definitely got more fights. So that's where I am with the Darrell brothers. I mean, most people know my opinions on it. I mean, Andre Darrell, just not interested in that guy. So he had all the tools to be a world-class fighter, reign that division. And his stomach went just as cowardly way. Any way to get out of the fight, just not my sort of fighter. And he cries like a baby all the time. Oh, I got robbed in Nottingham. Yeah, you fucking come and you ran for the hills. I mean, it was like watching Mo Farah at the fucking London 12 Olympics again, 20 whenever it was. It was just a fucking joke, man. So that's where I'm with the Darrell brothers.
Well, Caller, you made a good point, man. Caller, you made a good point about it's true. Everyone's like, oh, Caleb Plant, knockout of the night. Yeah, against a 39-year-old.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's getting very celebrated. So that's my call.
All right. Well, listen, good call, and call back next time, right, man? Take it easy out there.
All right.
All right, let's go to 909 here. 909, you're on the air. 909, what's on your mind?
Yeah, that's me.
That's you, man.
I think Deontay Wilder. I'm Mexican, by the way. I think Deontay Wilder is going to have a good late stage of his career in 2023. I think he'll try to have only the big fights because he knows he's not defending his belt anymore, or the belt anymore, and he's not unifying anymore. So he'll just take the big fights, I would assume. And I think he wins against Andy Ruiz, and I think AJ versus Wilder is 50-50, and I think Usyk versus Wilder is 50-50.
Interesting.
So
all right.
If he wants to go... Yeah, because he can't fight like some randoms anymore because he's not defending a belt anymore, and he knows that he's going to get criticized, and he's going to lose pay-per-view numbers, and he wants to sell his merch and his music, so he's not going to do that.
All right, so you're saying he's going to have... Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm also Muslim, so I gotta go for better BS.
Wait a minute. Okay,
Devin
now
Haney,
you're throwing.
Stephen Fulton.
Wait, hold on.
come
You're throwing all sorts of monkey wrenches in the works here. You're Mexican. You go for Wilder, and not only you're Mexican, you're a Mexican Muslim.
Yeah.
How do you? Wait, hold on. When you eat tacos, so no pork tacos nor nothing of that.
Yeah, Mexican Muslims are about as rare as fucking rocking horse shit. I mean, you don't see many of that.
All right, well, listen, Cole, you threw me off for a loop, but I respect that. You're saying Deontay Wilder, only the big fights, only the big fights. What do I call you? Because I'm writing the predictions down.
Well, I called before. I'm Mayo, but y'all put me down as Mario.
Okay. Are you sure you don't want to go with another name that starts with an M? Maybe Mohammed or...
Oh, from now on, you're Mario. You just gave us a good reason to call you Mario. You're Mario from now on, brother.
No, I'm kidding. I'm just joshing around. All right, yeah. Well, another prediction, Mario.
Right.
I think you were going to give with another prediction.
I think Inoue is going to go up and fight Stephen Fulton.
Oh, all right. Well, listen, Mario.
I think Japanese. Because I feel like there's pressure for that. And that would be a good international fight. I would like to see that fight. I feel like everyone would like to see that fight.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
I don't know if that's fair to Inoue, but I would like to see that fight.
All right, man. All right. Well, I got you down, Mario, and call back next time, all right, man?
All right.
All right. Take it easy out there. Thank you for calling in. All right, let's go to another phone call here. Don't forget to hit the like. Hit the like. 323, you're on the air. 323, what's on your mind?
What's going on, you guys? Loving the show, DBA. Really love the commentary. I think this year, coming up, 2023, I'm really liking Bam Rodriguez. I'm liking Boots Ennis. That's like a wealth of talent right there. And I'm not sure about Virgil. The only reason I'm not sure about Virgil is his representation. You know, I don't know if Oscar's going to want to put in with anybody of note. What do you guys think?
Well, let's go to the panel to hear the answer to your question. What do you guys think? You think Virgil has the correct representation in Golden Boy?
I know that he well, go, Stu.
Go ahead, brother, man. You're cool.
Oh, all right. I was going to make it real quick. I know once they matched him up, I think the question was, did he have a chin? Because we all know he could crack. You put him in with Green Machine, who could, and he could crack like a bastard. So I think they're not afraid of matching him. And I think, honestly, if it was the right fight, if the PBC was willing to, put up one of, any champion, I believe they would fight him. So
yeah,
we'll see. I'm high on Virgil. I just need to see him fight, and that's all. Like all of them. That's all I got.
I'll tell you where I am with it. Well, I'll tell you where I am with it. I mean, I think Oscar De La Hoya is the right choice for. I'm gonna say caller. Let me just finish quickly. I think Oscar De La Hoya is a good choice for Virgil Ortiz. I mean, these young Mexicans, you can't rush them too much because they've got no amateur background and they're used to like starting at 15, 16, going to war with men, and that could be very costly when you start going up to the world class fights. Do you know what I mean? So you got to take the time with them. I mean, like Canelo's done 40 odd fights before he fought someone of real caliber. Do you know what I mean? So that's where I'm with the Mexicans. Anyone else, I know, but these young kids are coming through. They have to learn to trade in a very tough upbringing as well in Mexico. I mean, you shouldn't get found out over there. So, just with the Mexicans, I don't mind. I think De La Hoya knows how to do it. Groom a he did a great job with Canelo for me. You can't rush Canelo. When he did rush Canelo, look what happened. He got fucking scored for 12 rounds against Mayweather. That was far too early for him. Do you know what I mean? He was just nowhere near ready for Mayweather. So that's where I am, man. And you only see with Munguia as well. Munguia is as tough as they come, but very vulnerable. He gets hit a lot. There's only so long you can start getting hit like that before you drop. And that's where I am. I think the pace is a bit rough. He needs a real good fight now. You know what I mean? I'm not saying go in there with the fucking top boys, but I'm going to someone like on the fringe of the titles, to show where we are with him. I'd like to see him like with Ben, kind of, he'd kill Ben, but that'd have been a good fight. Do you know what I mean? Who else is there really at 147? I'd like to see him. Yeah, I mean, that's what I said. One of them divisions where you've got divas and guys that just don't want to fight each other. So, on paper, it's a very good division, but in reality, it's terrible.
All right. Well, caller, you want to add to that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's kind of an uphill battle when you have a promoter that's kind of very choosy with fights, and then if you have some of the fighters that are on the PBC, because PBC is a shit show. And I mean, I think I heard you say earlier, I think a couple of weeks ago, that Boots Ennis only fought like 3 minutes, or I don't know what it was, 4 minutes the whole year. And that was I had to think about that. That was really alarming, because I love the guy. I mean, I think he's a generational talent, but you know, we don't know how good he is yet because he hasn't been tested. He's had a lot of fights, but who has he fought?
Yeah, man. I mean, he's just for the record, he fought less. Yeah, he fought 2 rounds, I think. No, less than 2 rounds. And his
4 minutes total.
beforehand, his last fight beforehand was in 2021.
Eventually. That will catch up with you eventually. I mean, being out of the ring is so costly to try. I don't get it. You only have to look at Muhammad Ali. I mean, when he was in prison 3 years, right? When he was out of the ring for 3 years, you just saw when he come back, he was never. He lost a yard in speed. You know, he went the shots that he was avoiding. He was getting hit with. You know, he had to take a lot of them fights to the trenches because he just didn't have the feet, the legs, and the speed anymore like he did have. And that's when Roy Jones, when he slowed down a yard, he went from not being able to hit the guy to getting sparked out left, right, and centre. I mean, he's been dropped more times than fucking Jenna Jameson's panties. But
wait a minute.
That's what I'm saying. When you're an instinct fighter like that, and you're using your athleticism to avoid shots, when you start getting old and start slowing down a bit, that's when you get caught.
I want to bring up one thing in the current boxing culture. I mean, in the old days, guys used to had more fights, but they had a lot of stay busy fights. Nowadays, you know, even if a guy wanted to take stay busy fights, they would be criticized because they're not fighting the best guys. But I do think that's a detriment to overall career if you actually just take fights to stay busy between the mega fights and the fights that are really challenging. I don't know if there's something to that, like being in the ring, having that experience, getting in there, and just staying busy. I mean, staying busy, I don't think it's a bad thing.
Yeah, you know, at this point, I'd take some stay busy fights at this point, but unfortunately, a lot of these promoters, they're not even doing that, and they got the power to make the big fights, but they're not doing it. So, I mean, not all promoters. Obviously, I think we know we're talking about the PBC more than anyone.
I think what it is kind of sad. When you've got a fighter that's on the fringe of being a superstar, then this is the problem with these promoters, because just one defeat in boxing these days, it can really kill the brand. I mean, Wilder's going to find that right now. Do you know what I mean? And that's the problem, especially in America. I mean, the zero it means more than a lot, most things, belts as well as everything. I mean, the zero is everything. And Floyd's brought this culture into American boxing, and I think it's terrible for the game. You know, these guys need to be going in there and testing themselves. And yes, they're going to come short sometimes. There's always a man that's better than you. Every top fighter that's ever lived has always come up against a guy that you just couldn't get the grips with. You've got fucking say. You just couldn't get the grips with Tunney, you know.
Well, listen, hey, caller, I don't know what I got down your predictions, but I don't know what to call you. What's your name? Or what do you want us to call you?
Call me Stag.
Stag? What the fuck? All right, Stag Films. All right, Stag, I got
Stag,
you down.
Like when you go by yourself somewhere, you go Stag.
Yeah, that's another meaning where I'm from. But I'll call you Stag, yeah, and I got your prediction down. All right, listen, Stag, thank you for your call, man, and call back next time.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Take it easy.
You got it. Thank you.
All right. So Benavides, all right, we got... You guys tell me, who do you want to talk about next? See if I get the name, the photo in my list here.
Well, Virgil Ortiz is... I know you guys touched up on it because the caller brought it up. You know, 47 pounds, he's with Oscar De La Hoya. And a lot of the fighters, even like the tune-ups or the guys prior to like the champions, like the contender ex-world champions, Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman, they're with the PBC as well. The champion, Errol Spence, I think he's PBC as well. And Crawford, we don't know what he is. but he's definitely not fighting anybody. He didn't fight last year or this year. I mean, I don't think he did. And I'm thinking if Virgil Ortiz, he's getting on the scale and he's barely beating the scale. Let him fight Stanionis and one of them guys, and if he can't get a title, well, fucking move up, man. Move up at 54. But you know what's going to happen? A lot of people are going to say, oh, well, he's ducking everybody like Triple G. Like Triple G was boxing. Who has he fought? But at the end of the day, man, these people, they have to be held accountable. These shit talkers, at the end of the day, nobody really cares about the fucking truth. But the guy's doing it 18 wins or 19 wins with 18 or 19 knockouts. Man, fight who's available, but don't let these people that are with the PBC stagnate your career. Don't be a follower, be a leader. In my opinion.
That's what Cole Froch would tell you that. Cole Froch spent far too long with Nick Hennessy, and he just had no TV contract. No one knew who Carl Froch was, and he was like one of our top fighters. You know what I mean? He just had great wins against Jermaine Taylor and John Pascal and people like that, and no fucking knew who he was. I mean, it was just terrible promoting by Hennessy, and this is the problem. One thing about Hearn I do like is that he's got a big mouth and he's cocky and arrogant, and he gets his fighters' names out there. You need a good promoter, but it's the thing. I mean, there's just not enough of them around at the moment. They're too greedy.
Jimmy, what do you think? Virgil Ortiz, man, 2023, will he shine?
Depends. Yes, but he's got to fight. He's got to get out there and fight somebody. I wonder if going up to 154, that would probably disappoint him because I know he wants to. Because I think he'd lose some of his power. I think right now he's right in the wheelhouse with his build. I think 147, he could be a real dominant fighter there. It's so hard to predict because you don't know who's going to be fighting who, and
well, he's definitely going to go into. He's definitely going to grow into that division eventually, isn't he, Jim?
Yeah, I would like to see him at least make a shot at a fucking world title at 147. Maybe they would try to make the Crawford if the Crawford Spence thing falls through. I think he would. I would have personally liked to see him have that one more, top level fight, and then. But I'd put him in right now against Spence, but they won't make that fight either. So you're right. I guess Gonzalo's kind of right. So it's almost like to the point where what is he going to go to 154? But even there, the champion there is under the PBC realm. Charlo, he has all the belts. It's just
Charlo's got really nowhere to go. He's at a stage of his career now where he has to take a big fight, and Ortiz against Charlo. I mean, it just doesn't get any bigger than that. For me, I mean, that's a great fight. I'd love to see that. I think it could be a bit too early for Ortiz. Don't know, but I know if Ortiz starts to put it on Charlo, I've seen him. All right, he's got a bit of toughness in him, Charlo, but I've seen him sort of fall to pieces when it's put on him and he's had bad performances because of it. So yeah, Ortiz has got every chance in that fight. Brilliant fight, but 147. I mean, it's just a division where you're just not going to get the fights that you want because there's too many divas in there fighting once a year. Getting paid millions of dollars to do it, just turn up and go through the motions, do enough to win. And if that's what boxing's about, you keep the fucking sport. Crawford is the only one I respect in that division.
Oh, come on.
If the PBC didn't exist, boxing would be living one of its greatest generations, I believe. Just think about it if it were gone.
You got a good point, Gonzalo.
Absolutely, man.
Excellent point, Gonzalo.
All right, let's go.
That's what I mean. Something like about Don King. Don King was a piece of shit, but go back in the history books, some of the fucking fights that guy made. You know what I mean? He made the biggest of the biggest, and he didn't just make them once, two or three times. And that's what you want. We don't want to see these fucking bum fights anymore. Sick of it. Do you know? I watched the fucking the YouTube card the other day. I mean, I found that more interesting than most of these fucking cards that I'm watching. A professional. Do you know? It's a joke, man. And then we do get a big fight, and the fucking do-gooders come on and cancel the thing. And the Queen's dead. I don't give two fucks about that. Put the fight on and wait for that fight all week. Then you got the druggy betting, innit? I don't give a fuck that he's got a little bit of steroids in him. I'm paying to watch someone get knocked the fuck out. I don't care if they've got Ivan Drago fucking drugs inside them. I don't. It's just boxing's become. It's become a pathetic sport. I mean, nowhere else in the world, any sport, it's unorganized, is just no standards. I mean, anyone can get a job in boxing. Like I said, the criteria to be a trainer in America: have a big mouth and wear a gold chain. You're there, and you don't even know, didn't even wrap hands, nothing. I mean, that's the thing. And boxing's just a terrible sport for it. And you've got these fucking promoters are hanging on to the nuts of the only decent fight they've got, and they're not going to chicken in with anyone. And this is where
That's
we
a
are.
good point.
Man. Bring back the old days.
Well, listen, hey, shout out to Vladdy V for his contribution by the super chat. He says, a few shekels for my favorite goy. When's the next episode of Second Renaissance, by the way? Shout out to Vladdy V for his contribution. I'm glad I'm your favorite goy. And I believe tomorrow I'm working on part 2 of the UFO episode. So stay tuned for that. Check out the Discord or your notifications for more updates. Let's go to a phone call here. Let's go to 917. 917, you're on the air. 917, what's on your mind? 917, you're on the air. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes, 917, you're on the air.
Yes. Well, first question, who let Ricky had it in the damn chat?
What are you talking about? What?
That Queen supporter guy. Talking all that smack.
Who are you talking about? A Queen supporter? In the chat?
He's talking about
me. You know, the across the pond fellows.
Oh, you're talking about Stu on the panel?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
What about him?
He's annoying me. Anyway, let's keep it moving.
All right.
No, how about you keep it moving, son? Because you just come on here giggling like a little fucking bumbling idiot.
You want me to go Manny Pacquiao, Ricky Head?
Yeah, come in, man. Let's trust me. You'll get knocked out quicker than Wilder did against Fury. Come to what you got for me on the line. Come, I'm annoying you now. Wait till give it 5 minutes, mate. You're gonna be fucking pulling your hair out, mate. Because I'm gonna annoy you even more. Now, come on. Let's hear what you got to say. Come on, man. Talk some boxing, man. What are you ringing in for? To giggle and fucking act like a little girl? You can do that. And fucking
go eat some fish.
WhatsApp. What are you doing, boy? Get on with it, then.
Yeah, you heard what I said, fish and chip, boy.
No, I didn't hear what you said. Could you fucking
Your
sound like a
country
retard?
can't even cook.
You're mumbling and muttering and stuttering. I can't hear a fucking
cook.
thing. All I can hear.
Your best dish
Go
is
back to your
fish and
angel desk and leave the boxing to the real men around here. And stop scanning the fucking internet off the liquor store because you've got a bad signal.
Enough, all right?
All right, well, caller, you went at Stu, man. Anything else you want to say?
Yeah. If Benavides keeps taking that Colombian candy, he's going to be the champ in no time.
All right, he's cracking himself up. All right, well, what do we call you? Because I need to take that name down for your prediction.
Manny Pacquiao.
All right, I guess someone's been on the no scanning themselves. All right, listen, Manny Pacquiao, thank you for your call, man. Call back next time.
All right.
More like tranny Pacquiao. That
Oh, what the fuck am I stupid? I thought you were an LGBTQ Z supporter, whatever the fuck they call it. Tranny Pacquiao. All right. Well, listen. If anybody wants to call in, hey, maybe we'll get Floyd Mayweather down the line.
He sounds like that dude. What's his name? Michael Rappaport.
Yeah, he did. He sounded a little bit like Michael Rappaport. You're right. Hey, man, Donald Trump,
Did
keep
you
your
just
name
say
on my mouth.
Tranny Pacquiao?
That's right. Hey, by the way, listen, don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. Here's what I want to say about Virgil Ortiz. The guy is listen, every time I listen to Joe Rogan, the podcast, he's always describing everybody as a killer. The fucking, not only an MMA guy, boxers, the guy down at the comedy store, he's a killer. Everyone's a killer if they're good at something. I rarely use that term. Ortiz is a killer. This guy's a predator. He's on point. He goes after guys, stops them. Unfortunately, like everything you guys say is correct, man. 147, there's no real contenders his side of the street. The best thing he can do right now, if he stays at 147, is to hope that the PBC disbands and that all these welterweights go to another place where he can get their hands on them, or maybe go for Avenesian. Because you guys remember earlier this year there was a rumor that he was going to take on Avenesian, and none of that's materialized. So that would be a good fight for him for the moment. But again,
and another thing, PD. Sorry, he got this weird condition that's related to like overtraining, and maybe like it's been a couple times where he gets on the scale and then he's gotta take his clothes off and like to meet the weight, or he's got to take 2 hours to come back, and maybe because the scale's off a little different than when he weighed himself in like privately in his room. And then he got this weird condition where it's related to overtraining. Of course, I'm not a doctor, but I'm just saying, maybe if he takes it a little bit easier on his body, he can make 54 comfortably and not be plagued by this type of conditions to where he's stressing his body too much. I'm just thinking. Yeah, ideally it would be great, like if you're like Oscar De La Hoya and you were a big dude, and when you started your career, you made 35, but then you could grab your hands on a title by facing, like for example, El Chicanito Hernandez. But these guys, the division, they're holding it hostage. So if you're not gonna be able to get that title shot, man, move up and be more comfortable with your body. I'm just thinking.
You know what? You're right. A lot of these guys are holding the division hostage, and a lot of fans have that. What's it called again? Stockholm syndrome. They love these guys, even though they're holding up the division. It's time to say, you know what? Stop loving your abusers. You gotta turn on them and say, fuck you. These guys listen, by the way. These guys listen. Don't think listen, we're not a big channel, whatever, so people think, they're not listening. They're listening. Because we're the fans. And guess what? Boxing is a niche sport. There's not that much of us watching. If enough of us stop watching, or if enough of us start putting pressure on these motherfuckers, keep our necks on top of their necks, guess what? They're gonna react. So let's start putting some pressure on these fucking welterweights that aren't fighting each other, and on the promoters that are facilitating this. Hey, listen, we got a phone call here. Let's go to 316. Oh, one of my favorite Bible passages. 316, you're on the air. 316, what's on your mind?
Yo, what's good, BDA?
What's up, man? What's on your mind?
So I'm thinking the 2023 fight of the year could either be Bam Rodriguez or Teofimo Lopez.
Whoa. Go ahead.
Because, Josh Taylor got that rematch with Catterall in February, and then he might move up after that, so Teofimo can take one of them belts. Also, it's me, the 15-year-old kid from the BDA boxing server. What's good, Jimmy?
Wait, which? I don't know. Sorry, I don't know who's a 15-year-old in the server.
No, he's the kid who's called in a bunch of times. He's a good kid. He's
okay.
He's
What do we
called
call you?
on Fridays, so that's why.
Okay. What do we call you?
Jay.
Oh, Jay. Okay, yeah, I've heard you. All right, so you're saying Bam and Teofimo Lopez, 2014. All right, I'm writing that down. All right, who's eating chips? Somebody please mute your mic if you're eating chips. What else, caller? What else do you think is going to happen in 2023? Who's going to shine in that year?
What the hell?
I'm thinking Devin Haney's going to get his ass beat by Lomachenko.
Oh. All right, I got you down. Anything else you want to say?
Shit, I'm just saying hopefully the channel keeps growing so people can hear everyone out. So this Spence Crawford fight can get made.
All right. Hopefully, man. You're preaching to the choir here. We all got our fingers crossed. All right, well, listen, Jay, thank you for your call. We'll call back next time, right, man?
Hey, thanks for the call, Jay. Take care, buddy.
All right.
All right, take it easy out there. What was I going to say? Okay, so you guys, anything else you guys want to say about Virgil Ortiz?
Need a big fight soon. Sooner rather than later. Don't put him in there with someone like fucking Spence or Crawford. Just, he's not ready for that level yet, I don't think.
What are you eating, Stu? I'm curious now.
As you fucking Yankees like to say, chips. But
Chips.
We call them crisps over here.
I mean, come on, crisps.
We call them crisps.
Just because they're crispy? I mean, listen, let's start calling every other food item out there by how it tastes and its texture. Sandwiches, let's call them mushies. Let's stop calling them sandwiches. Let's start calling them mushies. Oh, I'm going to have some mushies tonight. Get out of here. Start using proper words, Stu. Sick of it.
Well, I'm sorry. I didn't realise we were with Mother Tongue. I didn't realise it was our language that you're speaking right now. And that's the words that you're using. Sorry about that. I didn't realise.
I like when people talk at my level, so I can understand. I want to understand.
Yeah,
all right, well, listen.
I love it when the Americans try to correct the English on English.
I'm not American. I'm not American. I'm a child of the world.
But when the Americans do it,
right?
They've changed a few of our words around, didn't they, to make them a bit more savvy, and it's not proper English.
There you go.
It's not a tomato. It's a tomato. You get
one last one last thing about Virgil Ortiz. Even without a title, if he fights 2 or 3 times next year, maybe twice, I don't know. He'll still keep shining if he continues to be on the with that knockout streak, because that's alluring to casuals and to hardcores alike. He's reaching that the amount of fights that you start breaking records. Okay, how many fights did what's this called, the little guy that hanged his wife, hanged himself, killed his wife?
Valero.
Edwin Valero, and that rarefied space, where 20 something fights and you're knocking everybody out. That's just simply amazing. So
That's true. That's true.
That
Hey, you
brings
know what?
hardcores and casuals alike.
You just reminded me of something about that, Gonzalo. Real quickly, Tul Lomachenko. Remember when Boom Boom called earlier at the beginning of the show? He goes, "Oh, they call him the White Jesus because he's got the." Stu, you got to mute, please. You got to mute because I hear every scrambling there of the bag.
Oh, sorry, man. Sorry, man.
That's all right. That's all right.
I'm hungry. Sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. He called him White Jesus because he's privileged, but that doesn't make sense. I've been spending the last hour and a half scratching my head. How is being Jesus privileged? Jesus wasn't privileged. He was a fucking carpenter for
No, he wasn't.
So yeah, I don't get that. They need to update. They need to update what they call.
They were calling him White Jesus because I remember, because he could do no wrong according to anybody. And you know how the Pharisees always used to cast. They always used to look at Jesus. The Pharisees, they would always want to make him trip up. Well, what do you eat with your hands? And then what comes out of the mouth? What comes out of the mouth is worse than what you put in. Wouldn't you agree with me, Stu, since you're eating right now? No, right. Just
I mean, if he is White Jesus, then his dad truly does hate him for what he let Salido get away with. And let's be real. I mean, he did get a lot of flack from that side of the pond. And I don't know. Like I said, I think they feel threatened by him. And then they'll mention his losses. Like, oh yeah, that's Salido. And I had that to write his draw. And even then, I thought Salido was low blowing. Came in at 147 pounds. He must have done. He was fucking huge. He didn't make weight. He missed weight by about 4 or 5 pounds. I forget to tell you about that. I mean, it was just a terrible fight for Lomachenko to take after 2 fights, and I think it cost him. He went in there with an amateur background sort of thing, and he didn't really switch up to the pros until after that defeat. He was still trying to fight like the amateur way, where you're nicking on points sort of thing, and that don't work in the pro game. You're not going to get broken up. You're not going to get fights going to get warned every 10 seconds. No, you're going to get away with stuff like that. And he had to adapt, and he didn't adjust. He did adjust, and it cost him. But I think it was a good thing that happened because he realised what the pro game was about. And if you look at that fight with Salido, when he started taking it to Salido in front of the body and started pushing Salido back, you could see the fight was changing. It was just when he was on his toes trying to nick it like an amateur style, it cost him.
Yep.
Hey,
that's actually, he called it a privilege to get punched in the nuts 100 times.
That's right. Well, hey, listen, I've seen some videos where some guys pay for that. But anyway, listen, we're not going to get into it right now. Let's talk about Josh Taylor. They've announced it finally. The Catterall rematch will be taking place in February, I believe. Josh Taylor no longer with Ben Davison. Good thing or bad thing? I don't know. You guys tell me. Will he shine in 2023?
I think Stu's going to say it's a good thing. And not that I argue with him over that. I've heard him.
Yeah, this is my section. This is my
absolute Ben Davidson. Stu, take it away.
Well, happy days for Josh Taylor. I mean, he has got a brain, and he has got a brain after all. I mean, this fucking guy. I wouldn't have Davison holding my spit bucket. That's where I am with the guy. I wouldn't. If Davidson told me to throw a jab, I'd throw a hook. It's just whatever he tells you, just do the opposite, and you might have a chance. That's my advice to any fighter that has his clown in their corner. I mean, like I said before, I don't like people. He nearly got Tyson Fury killed. He nearly got let's be real. I mean, who's the one that beat the Irish guy, Conlon? I mean, he was getting his ass whooped before he got that big shot in. You know, his tactics led to be desired. I mean, I just don't rate this fucking guy. And thank God, as I said, Josh Taylor. I mean, looked one of the best fighters in the UK. He has one count with Ben Davison, and Jack Catterall looked like Pernell Whitaker in that. I mean, Jack Catterall.
No, but wait a minute.
It was.
But wait a minute. He had,
he turned Josh Taylor into fucking fucking live, Taylor. I mean, come on, man. It's a joke, man.
To be fair, wasn't he in Taylor's corner when he beat Ramirez?
Yeah, but come on, man. Talk about stepping. It's like, you know, when your mate's having a fight, and like he drops mate, and then you come in with the boot and knock mate out, and you claim victory. It's one of them ones. Taylor was already winning. He was already on form. He just came in, and look, he was at the end of a camp, and Taylor had enough left to win that one against Ramirez. Let's be real. He should have stopped Ramirez. I mean, look, go and look at Ben Davidson's advice in the corner. I mean, he was there for the taking, Ramirez. Just keep it long, holding it. Make me look good. That's, you know what you're getting with Ben Davison. It's all about me, isn't it? Tyson, don't worry, that right hand's not coming. Next minute, fucking he's waking up to the stars, isn't he? I mean, I just don't rate this fucking guy. He has no business in boxing. He should get back to fucking teaching 10-year-olds how to hold basketballs. Listen, he's going to get... No, mate, Josh Taylor's career is tainted now because every time someone talks that guy about him fighting Spence or Crawford, you know what they're going to say? Oh, what, the guy that was like Rob Catterall, that one. And that should never have happened. Josh Taylor's a better fighter than Jack Catterall, much better fighter. But Jack Catterall, like I said, Pernell Whitaker in there, one camp with fucking Ben Davison, like I said. Tyson Fury nearly got the guy killed. You know, it's just... I don't know where you know, this guy's just come from nowhere, and this is boxing for you. I mean, no other sport. You can't, like I said, you can't just walk into the fucking, say, the Manchester City changing room, innit, and just put on Haaland shirts. I will play today. You got to be good at what you do. You know, you can't just walk in the changing room and get game. Why can you walk into boxing? Why can you walk into boxing and just have a major part in the world champions?
How dare you?
I just don't get it. I just don't get it though. Where's this kid come from? I mean,
well, some people speculate. Some people speculate that he's got ties with Kinahan, and he in turn gets him all this.
I'm telling you fucking now. That is the only reason he's where he is. It's the only reason. And that guy now Kinahan is fucking on the run. The American, the CIA, or the FBI, whatever it fucking is, right? And you notice Davison's like starting to get sacked in left, right, and centre. And he's gonna be at the job centre claiming fucking food. I'm telling you that the fucking now.
All right. Hey, listen, fellas, I gotta go for 2 seconds. You guys take over, right? We're talking about Josh Taylor here, whether he's gonna shine or not. 2023.
So, Stu, let me ask you a question in an American football analogy. Whoever trained Josh Taylor before, would you say that Ben Davidson was like the Barry Schweitzer of the Dallas Cowboys that came in off of Jimmy Johnson's success and won a Super Bowl with somebody else's coaching and players? And that's kind of what Ben Davidson did with Josh Taylor?
I'd say he's more like the fucking Nunes that went to Tottenham Hotspur. They went from a top 4 team that couldn't win a fucking game. I mean, they're just getting bashed up every week. I mean, that's where I'd go. I mean, this guy's got no business in fucking boxing. And I don't. Everyone thinks I pick on Ben Davis, and I spot a rat when I spot a guy who shouldn't be there. And this is a dangerous sport, boxing. This is you cut corners in boxing, you can end up by Joe McClellan. He'll tell you that. Well, mate won't tell you. This thing. It's a dangerous sport. It's the toughest job in the world is to be a boxer. It's not even just physically either. The mental stress this thing causes. It's more mentally than physical, and like I said, you have to be disciplined with food. I mean, us lot, we're hungry. We just go to the fridge and fill our fat faces. These guys can't do that. Do you know what I mean? It's a disciplined sport, and yeah.
I think Ben Davis is it's
not one for having clowns around your camp.
I just think he's an inspiration, like one of those inspirational speakers. Like he kind of baffles people with his, personality, and he tells them things they want to hear, and he motivates them. But he doesn't know how to train a fighter, and I think he gets found out. That's why guys usually drop him after a couple.
So what he needs to do is what Angelo Dundee did. Angelo Dundee was never the trainer; he was the chief second. He had someone train the fighter for him. He was just the motivator in the corner. Now, I don't know enough about Ben Davidson to argue with you about that, Stu. What I'm saying is that if he actually is a good motivator, then what he needs to do is hire himself a good trainer to do the dirty work in the gym, and then he's the one that actually can motivate them in the corner, if that's in fact what he's good at. I don't know much about him. The first time I ever heard his name was actually from you. Stu. So, but that's what Angelo Dundee did. Angelo Dundee was not the main trainer. He was just the chief second in the corner. Same with Lou Duva. Georgie Benton was the one that did all the training, later replaced by Ronnie Shields. But Lou Duva was the one, because you got 60 seconds to try and get your point across. And Georgie was really slow talking. Evander Holyfield said this in an interview, and we'll get back to Josh Taylor in a second. But Lou Duva can get his points across quick, fast, and articulate really quickly, and he can motivate you too. But go on, 3 minutes to champion of the world. Okay, some people can't. Some trainers can't do that. Some cornermen can. So, and I'm not trying to take up for Ben Davidson or anything else. I just think if what Jimmy said is correct, if that's what he's good at, then he needs a partner in order to go any further in the sport, because he's not going to do it himself. But about Josh Taylor, though, which is what's your take on him, Stu?
Right.
For the next year, what's your take on him?
I think Taylor's a very talented guy. Real talent, but I've seen since he's been with Davidson, it's just not looked right. It's like the George Graves went to that fucking Paddy guy. What's his name? I mean, George Graves. He went from Adam Booth to this fucking clown, and it cost him. He got knocked the fuck out.
Right.
How do you think he does in his rematch?
Yeah, good question.
Sorry again. Who what rematch?
Oh, he's rematching Catterall. So, what's your call?
I think Josh Taylor's going to win this one. The thing what makes the top fighters is they know what they've done wrong the first time, and they usually put things right.
Yeah,
that was a shock. I mean, it's very rare you'll see a top fighter make the same mistakes twice. And I think, like I said, he looked dead weight for me, Josh Taylor. I think that's the problem with Ben Davidson. He's such a fucking narcissist. He's got him up at 4 a.m. for 10-mile runs, isn't he? He leaves them. They always leave it in the gym when they're with him. Tyson Fury did. I mean, that's why he got dropped heavily. And you can't be leaving these fighters fresh enough to go in there and do a job. What are you fucking leaving it in the gym for? That's him in his fucking narcissistic ways. Look at me. I've lost 147 pounds. You lost being with me. Yeah. And he lost his fucking life as well. I mean, come on, man. This guy's a fucking clown. So he's. I think he took Josh Taylor back. So if we can get Josh Taylor, that was before, like fought Ramirez and had great fights. Almost before he's fought some real good guys. Taylor, he's made them look very average. So this guy's a talent.
Yeah, he had a very good run. He had a very good run to become undisputed at 140. The biggest thing that the rumor has been is that he's having trouble starting to make weight. He walks around at 160 pounds. He's getting into his 30s. How long is he going to be able to make this weight without hurting everything else he can do? Before
this is the thing. I mean, this is probably not going to be that way very long at all, because when you look at it, the only thing Ben Davidson can do is make him lose weight and get him in shape, sort of thing. That's the only thing he fucking can do. And if he can't do it properly, then who else is? I mean, he needs to move up. So this is the thing with fighters. This is why we're not getting the best out of these fighters, because they're draining themselves. It's like a cowardly sort of way that I'm going to make it as small as I can. So I don't have to fight people my own size. I don't get it. So just go in there at 147. All right, it's going to be tougher for him, but I think he gets a bit more energy, a bit more strength in him. I think he can cause a lot of problems to people in the pocket. He's got dangerous. He's got to get it out of his head that he's a slick fighter from distance. Using it from range and being. He's not that sort of guy. When he tries to do that, he starts to get tagged up. It's only when he takes it inside and puts it to these guys. Prograis was fucking tagging him up from distance. So he had to take that to the trenches to get anything out of that fight.
Right.
And he's not as good a boxer as he thinks he is.
All you had to.
I think Lomachenko is the same. I think Lomachenko, people get dazzled by the Matrix, but when it comes to it, he gets outboxed and outjabbed at range quite a lot. And since he's gone up the division, obviously because of size, but as soon as he takes it into the mid range, into the pocket, and starts letting the hooks go and the short shots, he starts to take over. And I think Joe Taylor needs to sort that adapt that sort of style.
So your call on whether he's going to shine this year or not, other than the Catterall fight, is once he gets. Your pick is he's going to get past Catterall, and if he does, you think he's going to shine this year?
I think he can shine. It depends. Like I said, if trying to do every corner, isn't it, Matt? I mean, look, Taylor's at a stage where he's going to need a world-class trainer. For me, I'd go to the States. I would. I'd go out of fucking Britain, go out of Scotland, go to the States and get one of the top trainers over there to train him, and keep it all boxing, because he's got a lot of distractions over it. And you can see he took his eye off the ball against Catterall, and it cost him. Well, it didn't on the record books, it did, but to us, it did.
Hey, by the way,
it did literally cost him. I'm sorry, BDA, go ahead.
Hi, shout out to Hyperspaz for his contribution to Super Chat. He says, props to Taylor for trying to right a wrong. With the rematch, I think he convincingly wins it the second time. Also, 2023 year of Team Zoo. All right, shout out to Hyperspaz for his contribution with the Super Chat. Hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. Chief, you were going to say something about Taylor? Or?
I was kind of taking over a little bit while you were gone, of asking some questions of Stu. And
is that right?
And well, I was trying to assist, and Jimmy helped out also.
Is that did you guys make any judicial determinations without me, or?
Well, we finally got just as you showed up, and we got to the point that he can shine, but it's going to depend on how he does against Catterall and what he does with his new trainer. So the jury's not exactly out. We're thinking that he's going to shine based off of what he's done so far, but the official calls out until after the Catterall fight. Did I sum that up pretty well, guys?
Yeah, you did. But the thing is, you know what you get with Catterall? He's gonna like lead with a shot and then hold and stuff like that. It's you just couldn't deal with a straight left in the first fight. And I think he's gonna have to come to terms with that, because that's all Catterall's really got. He doesn't mix it up too much. It was just, I don't know how he lost that fight. How can you lose Catterall, he did a good job, but he didn't really do anything special, did he? I mean, let's be real, he didn't do. I mean, Josh Taylor played into his hands. You know what I mean? And he's going to have to change things up. I think he's got enough to beat Catterall. I really do. I think he will as well. He could stop Catterall this time.
Well, Chief, since you took over, man, it's up to you now to decide who do you want to talk about next. Who will shine 2023? Hopefully, I got the name. Hopefully, I got the photograph on the records. But if I don't have it,
I don't even know. I thought you already had people lined up. I wasn't taking over for you. I was just helping you out. I don't even know who we talked about so far.
Oof, well, that's
I came in late, remember?
All right. Okay, so I'll pick. Ryan Garcia.
At 140, he has the potential to shine based off the fact he's getting better with Joe Goosen. And other than Josh Taylor, I don't know of anyone that's really going to overly basically, everyone thinks that if he stays at 130, he's going to get demolished by Tank, and he'll get outboxed by Haney, and he'll get outboxed by Shakur. I don't see the same talent level at 140. But he has to actually step up. So if he actually steps up and is successful, the kid is going to shine if he keeps winning. So my official call is I'm going to say shine. I'm going to go out on a limb and say shine, because I think he's getting better. He already has the potential. We know he's got hand speed. We know he's got range. We don't know if he's got a chin, but we know that people can make a career out of hiding the chin. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say shine.
Well, listen, there's a lot of guys on Twitter that want to shine his knob, if you know what I mean. So, but okay, but listen, in terms of the chin, I think he just has to tuck that motherfucker up, and he's good. Yeah. I don't think he's got that bad a chin. I mean, look, he took a flush shot against Campbell. I know he's not a big puncher, but he took and he got back up. So,
well, he's tall, and he's got that lead hand. That lead left hook. The jab now with Hussein, he's developing in the lead left hook. A lot of times, he's tall, so he's taller than his opponents. He's putting that head up because he's peering down the peripheral, and he's gauging how far you are from him. So as soon as you step into his wheelhouse, he's clipping you with that lead left hook. Now, it kind of got away with him when he faced the southpaw in Campbell, because he kind of threw a long punch like that dude that Taylor just fought, the guy that we were just mentioning, Catterall. He got a lot of extension on that punch, and he thought he was in a safe space where he wasn't. He got dropped. Yeah, all he has to do is tuck it in and realize that if people are saying that if you keep putting your chin up, you're gonna get caught. But fix those deficiencies. And as far as his star potential, I mean, yeah, it's literally he's the guy that's got all the reflectors on him, and he will shine bright because he's got that star appeal. Yep. So that's something to consider.
If he keeps winning, he'll keep shining.
Yeah, sorry, I had somebody waiting here. I forgot about the phone lines. Let's go to 323. 323, you're on the air. 323, what's on your mind?
Yo, what's up, guys? Real quick, I believe it's going to be the year of Fury and Ryan Garcia. Fury's going to lynch that Ukrainian. You know, Putin's going to be on his back. He's going to be giving him the best stuff in the world. You know how Olympics, you know how the Russians do it. He's going to lynch him. He's going to grab him. He's going to toss him around. You know, it's going to be pretty easy. Fury is going to have the best one of the best resumes in modern boxing history because he's going to beat Joshua too in the second half, and he's going to lynch that guy too, and it's going to be great. Fury's going to snort coke throughout the whole entire year. He's going to have Ukrainians all in the back seat. You know, I hear they're on special right now. Buy one, get five. And I think it's going to be great. And then the second guy is going to be Ryan Garcia. There's a lot of misconceptions with PBC fanboys saying that Tank Davis is the best power puncher, but he hasn't really even knocked out anybody of great merit at 35, not even a contender. He couldn't even lock out 5'4" Guatemalan. You know, you see a lot of those guys in the border, you know, giving out candy, trying to bring in a lot of people. But he couldn't even knock him out. Try to make up a lie that his hand was broken or whatever, but it's just a lie. He had trouble knocking out Gamboa too, and he tore his ACL in the second round. And Gamboa was getting knocked out by everybody, and he's not even a natural lightweight. So I think that there's going to be a huge realization in the size factor, and the athleticism factor, and in the power factor when he fights Ryan Garcia, and that Albino's going to die, and then it's going to be a whole entire fiasco of the Deontay Wilder meltdown again, all over again, and that's what's going to happen. That's what I believe. Year of Tyson Fury, year of Ryan Garcia. That's it.
All right. I wrote down the predictions, but I need a nickname to go with that.
Oh, it's J Money. It's J Money.
Oh, J Money. All right. Shout out to J Money coming in there with the energy. Fury, Ryan Garcia. Fury's going to snort coke throughout the year and still come out on top. All right, J Money. Anything else you want to say before we move on?
Nah, great show as always. You know, I think the difference between a lot of shows and your guys' show is that not only do you guys speak facts, right? A lot of channels speak facts, but you guys also provide a comedic value. I heard that joke that you told about Boom Boom. You know, hopefully he didn't. You know, hopefully he got out of jail pretty quick. I know in New York you can kill someone and get out on the same day. So hopefully he's all right. You know. Hopefully,
all right, J Money.
All right.
Thank you for your comment.
All right,
Take
guys.
it easy, man. Thank you.
Take it easy, J Money.
See you guys later.
The only thing that guy was mentioned was talking about sacrificing any virgins. He pretty much hit the nail on everything else.
I mean, he said he was going to go after all the Ukrainians. But what about that? Let's stay on top. Well, he mentioned Ryan Garcia. Listen, Chief, when I asked you that, you started off with 140 pounds. Are you saying he won't stay at 135?
Well, I mean, his last two fights have been in junior welterweight, and after his last fight, I thought he declared the fact that that's the way he's going to stay at.
Mm-hmm.
He's still ranked at 135 and not ranked at 140 as far as I know. I haven't checked the rankings lately, but
sorry about that.
But no worries. But my thing is, he's 23, 24. He's 5'10". I don't think he can make 135 anymore. I think a smart play for him is to go to 140, and not necessarily start over again, but start mid-level. Just act like you're a lower-level contender. You're no longer a prospect. You're 24. So act like you're a lower-level prospect. Lower-level contender, working your way up. Try and take 3 fights if possible, and then see if you can get a title shot either at the end of the year or early next year. When you're at your peak at 25 years old.
I mean, like, this guy has, if there's anybody out there that can transcend the sport of boxing, it's this motherfucker. And I'll tell you what, though. I didn't like, a lot of people, we criticized him for that, when he, for his first fight of the year. I forget the guy's name already. Excuse me. But a lot of us criticized him for him running out of ideas midway through the fight. But let's take a look at the good. This is a guy that's long range. The first time he fought somebody that was competent, he spent a lot of time tying him up. Now, though, he's a pressure fighter. He could stand on the outside, use his length and speed advantage to just pick guys off with that check left hook and all that. He's not doing that. He's walking Tagoe. Yes, thank you everybody in the chat. Tagoe. He walked Tagoe down. Okay, he didn't take him out. He hurt him multiple times throughout the fight. He walked him down. He did the same thing to Fortuna and took him out. So I like the spirit he's showing. I like that the fact, because listen, there's been fighters in the past like Marco Antonio Barrera, Hopkins. They were seek and destroy guys, and then they switched it up later on in their careers and became boxer punchers. This guy's doing the opposite. He was a boxer puncher who's now putting pressure on guys. I gotta respect that. I have to.
Yeah, there's a fat dude with the big ass what is it called? Omega head that used to work with Eddie Reynoso. I used to watch his dogs and train with Canelo, and then he got fired or didn't have anything more for him during that time. That he went to work with Henry Garcia and the Ryan Garcia crew when they took that heavyweight. And all the people they went over there. He said that when he was holding the pad for Ryan Garcia, that when he threw the first punch, he felt it to the bone. And then when he threw the second punch, he said, wait a minute, let me take that pad off and let me put some tape in the palm of my hand because this kid is really hitting that hard. So I just made a little comment just to put it into perspective. When I heard that, it's like, man, when this dude is hitting you on the pad, because I've held pads for one guy in particular where that kind of makes sense to me. Some dudes, they can hit you on the pad when you're feeling it to the bone. And that's interesting because obviously this dude can crack. Speed, power, now he's getting the size. He's becoming stronger. He's coming into his own, like the man strength. Yeah, the dude's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Well, let me throw in another name.
Go ahead,
real quick, Chief. Just I want you to answer this. I'm just going to throw in Tank Davis in the mix here because there's rumors from Spinoza saying they're working on the fight. Go ahead, Chief.
Well, to my knowledge, Ryan was number one at WBA at lightweight for a little bit, so that was the mandatory for Tank. So that's why there was so much talking going on for that. I don't know how any rankings have changed in the past 2 months because, like I said, I haven't kept up with them. But if that's the case, then they have to either Ryan has to declare he's moving up and give up his ranking, or Tank has to fight him or give up his belt. So that's what we do know about that part. A fight between those two, honestly, I don't see it going the distance. I can see Tank checking Ryan's chin, but I can also see Ryan just keeping Tank on the outside. If you remember, Pedraza didn't have power, but he was able to hit Tank very easily and box him very well from the outside. Tank just walked him down. Well, now you're walking down someone's got power. You're following a puncher around. Pedraza's not a puncher. And so that can be bad for Tank, except for the only thing Tank has in his favor is being a lefty. Left hooks don't always, they land from the outside against a lefty. Again, that's the foot battle that I've mentioned many times on the show. But unless he keeps that foot on the outside and he can land the hook where Tank can't see it, it's going to be hard for him to use that weapon. So he's going to have to rely on his right hand. And I don't know how proficient his right hand is. Remember how much trouble both Felix Trinidad and Oscar De La Hoya had with Pernell Whitaker because their money punch was the left hook. They had to rely on their right hands. It just it's not a natural. It can be used against a southpaw, but it's not a main weapon. It doesn't work as well. So that could give Ryan some trouble.
Interesting. I'll tell you what, man. First of all, let's say the fight happens. Just comparing and contrasting their styles, I like Ryan Garcia. He's improving. He seems to be improving. He seems to be gaining momentum. Like I said, he's coming forward in fights, chasing guy downs, no longer relying on his speed advantage and his length advantage. The other hand, Tank Davis is a guy who's got the power, he's got the explosiveness, but he doesn't work his way on the inside. For the past 3 or 4 fights now, he's relied on, let them come to me and I'll catch them. Doesn't always work. In fact, the Barrios fight went down the wire. He almost lost that one. Or at least, that's what he thought. That's why Mayweather was panicking in the corner. He couldn't pull it off against Cruz. And against Rolly Romero, there's no way he should have been losing rounds to Romero. So if he can't take Ryan Garcia out of there, is he really going to go after it? Is he going to try to get the inside? Because I'm telling you, he hasn't shown that ability quite yet, or at least the ability to do so throughout 12 rounds. But here's the problem. Yeah.
I want to hear what you have to say about here's the problem before I go on.
The problem is, well, you go first because this in regards to his legal problems.
Okay, so I don't know about what's going to come with the legal situation, but I've said this before, and you just said it just now, that Ryan is getting better. Ryan's getting better under Joe Goosen. Joe Goosen's finally taking training seriously again. He didn't when he was Chavez Jr.'s trainer. He was like a gun for hire. Sure, I'll train you. You're going to pay me. If you win, great. If not, I don't care. I'm going to move on because I'm also a commentator and so on and so forth. Right now, it seems like even though he still does his commentating thing, that he's in with Ryan Garcia. He's not just working his corner from time to time. He's working with Ryan Garcia. Joe Goosen is an excellent trainer. He may not be a Hall of Fame trainer, but he's an excellent trainer. He knows what he's doing. And if he pours his knowledge in and works on these things, then Ryan's going to continue to improve until he reaches his peak, which could be another 2 years from now because, he's, like I said, he's just turned 24. Tank is not going to get any better. Whatever we have from Tank is what Tank is. He is at, I don't know about peak, but he's in his prime. He's 27, pushing 28. There's nothing that's going to change about Tank. He's not going to add anything to his repertoire. He throws a good uppercut. He likes to throw a jab. He's good with some hooks. He's not a great body puncher. He holds on the inside. He holds and hits because he can't fight on the inside. And he's starting to get hit more, and his punch output is starting to drop as he gets older, walking people down. I think he was walking Rolly Romero down. People can say he was losing rounds. I think he was walking him down. Conceding rounds in order to get to him later is what I think his mentality was, from my opinion. That ain't going to work against Ryan because if he doesn't start off fast, Ryan's going to build momentum, and unless Ryan gets cocky and gets caught, he's going to keep moving and keep moving and keep moving. Not necessarily moving as in boxing, but keep moving forward and keep building momentum. And his punch output's going to go up to where when Tank starts to open up, Ryan's going to be able to counter him. That is a possibility of how I see the fight going. That doesn't mean it. We know how it is with me picking things. I'm not always great at picking winners, but the bottom line is Ryan's getting better and Tank's not. So if this fight does start to happen, this is actually a crossroads fight for both of them, and I would lean towards Ryan.
Interesting.
I think the worst thing to do. Yeah, BD, I think the worst thing you can do against Tank Davis is get complacent. Think because maybe he's not hurting you in the beginning, then all of a sudden I'm just gonna have my way with this short little midget dude. That if you get complacent, yeah, he's gonna throw something heavy somewhere along the fight. That you have to be always. I think you have to maintain that distance. If you're Ryan, be on your P's and Q's and use your length to your advantage. The thing that Ryan needs to improve, in my opinion, is the right hand because he's developed a sort of a bad habit coming up. A good thing that he does with the lead left. The lead left, he throws it quick. He's catching dudes by surprise. He can let it go real easy. But the trail hand is a different dynamic because that punch, you have to like really turn it. And you would think that Ryan Garcia, since he's a right-hander, he could probably punch harder with the right rather than his left. But the left, that's his known power punch. With the right hand, you can't just be sneaky with it. Set it up with your jab.
Yep.
And then turn the right hand over to where you're not trying to do it like the lead left where you're being sneaky about it. No, that's kind of developed the bad habit. He's trying to take shortcuts when throwing punches just because you can do it quickly. And that's a good thing to do it with the right. Apply a different a style to throw it, which is basically turning that hand over and sitting down on that punch to get the maximum out of your punching power.
Agreed. I think the one thing he needs to remember to do is use the lead hook to set up the right hand, push him in range with the hook for the right, and sometimes do a lead hook right hand combination because he's fighting a southpaw.
Well, I gotta tell you, man, you guys are breaking it down and doing a solid job of it. I might say so myself. Here's the problem. I was gonna get to that. The illegal troubles. Tank Davis apparently ran into 4 people allegedly left the scene. The problem is 3 of those people have declined to press charges, but there's a woman, a pregnant woman, who claimed that she was in the car, she asked Tank Davis for help. He just stared at her, wide-eyed, like he was lost or something, took his stuff out of his car, and left. Now, the DA had accepted a plea deal where he was only going to serve time, that means no time, home confinement, I believe, and that's it. Well, the judge rejected the plea, and she says, nope, that's not enough. So it looks like he could be doing some time, or maybe, I don't know what else. Apparently the judge saw that the punishment didn't fit the crime. So I don't know, man. If the fight happens, that's why, though, when I heard that they might be making it for early 2023, I said, you know what? It's possible. Because it might be a Floyd Mayweather 2012 situation. Remember that when he fought Cotto and he already knew he was going to go to the slammer?
Yeah.
Could be a similar thing here.
Yeah, it could be. And at this stage of his career, I mean, it didn't hurt Mayweather too much, but what Mayweather go for like 6 months? This charge might be a little bit more because, again, you're talking about a pregnant woman. I don't know about everywhere in the world, but this particular country tends to be very protective of those situations unless they're in a chopping block. So if you picked up on that. But anyway, a pregnant woman that does not want to abort the baby usually is protected very well by law. So my point of all that is that those charges kind of bring a little bit extra. So it's probably if he goes to jail over this, if he does time, I don't think it's going to be just 6 months. It's probably going to be at least a year, if not a little longer. And what's that going to do for his career? It didn't hurt Mayweather much because he was only fighting twice a year back then. And I know true, though, but Tank fights about the same. Tank fights about the same, about twice a year. But if you take a whole year away to where there's no fights, what kind of ring rust is that going to put on him? On a guy that's already not testing himself, as Jimmy says, steel sharpens steel. He hasn't fought steel in a long time. The closest thing he fought to steel was Isaac Cruz, and it dulled the blade a little bit. So what's a whole year off going to do if that happens?
That's a good point, man. That's a good point. Listen, Tank Davis, though, on top of that, he seems to have some sort of promotional issue with Mayweather every 2-3 months. He says he badmouths Mayweather in a tweet and then he deletes it. I mean, I don't know what's going on with the guy. He's running into pregnant ladies, choking out his girlfriend in front of everybody. You choke out somebody, you do it in private. That's everybody knows that. Every man worth his salt knows that. So I don't understand what's going on with him. Hopefully they get their act together and we see the fight, because apparently that's one where they're really getting into. That's the thing, though. With Devin Haney, he was smart. Him and his publicity hound of a father were smart because they did the rounds in a bunch of podcasts, and they claimed, we want Loma, we want Loma, we want Loma. And a lot of these, let's call them fans, but they're really not fans, but these so-called boxing fans, they love it when a fighter goes, I'm calling him out. To them, that's an official call-out, that's an official negotiation. So now, Haney might not fight him, Lomachenko that is. So now they're saying, hey, well, listen, Loma avoided him, so it's okay. So just by saying something, these guys get brainwashed. So, but with Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia, they do appear to be negotiating. So keep your fingers crossed. You never know. Maybe they're trying to cash Tank Davis out since he's losing control and might be going away for a while. Don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like, hit the like, hit the like. All right.
Have we already mentioned Devin Haney?
Yeah, in the beginning. How about this, man?
Yeah, I missed. Go ahead.
Actually, where the fuck is he? This is a guy that if you would have asked me in 2021, hey, is he going to shine 2022? I would say absolutely. If you would have told me, hey, he's only going to fight 3 minutes total in 2022, I'd have said, what are you talking about? What, is he going to get injured or something? No, it's just he's with an awful company. Jaron Ennis. Everybody's high on this guy. Some caller already called him a generational talent. Guys, what do you think about Jaron Ennis? Is he going to fight more than 3 minutes next year?
So I don't know how long he's going to fight, and I don't know how many fights he's going to get. But whatever he does is going to be spectacular. I mean, as long as it lasts, it's going to be spectacular. A generational talent. He doesn't fight the same way as Floyd and Roy did. And Floyd used to mimic Roy when he turned pro, believe it or not. Leading with that left hook and doing a lot of stuff. He had the Mayweather stance, but he did a lot of similar things to Roy because Roy was the top American fighter at the time when Floyd was turning pro. And Roy had a lot of influence on the 96 Olympic team. He made a couple of appearances when they were training. That being said, there's no person to mimic for Jaron Ennis. So he's kind of his own man. He's not mimicking Floyd. He's not mimicking Roy Jones. He's not mimicking other guys. He's fighting like himself. And what I see is the same kind of generational talent. You can say he's fighting bums. I don't care who you put him in there with. Whoever you put him in there with as a prospect / contender is not going to do well. He just has that kind of talent to me. He passes my eye test. He gets hit. Okay, nothing's even made him blink that he's been hit with yet. And he's got the power and the speed and the athleticism to really frustrate anyone at 140, from 140 to 154.
Well, let me say this.
Go ahead.
You're right. He hits very hard, and he has been wiping away the competition. Now, I'm not going to get into the whole, are there any asterisks in there, whatever, but he has been stunned twice. Some Dominican guy stunned him, and Lipinians for a second made his legs wobble a little bit with an overhand right. And again, Lipini, it's neither the hardest puncher nor the most physically imposing at 147. So listen, he definitely has a lot of physical talent, meaning speed, explosiveness, reflexes, but he tends to keep his hands down. And he's yet to fight a guy that's going to give it back to him with the same firepower. So I got the bar very high right now, but I'm skeptical still. I still want to see him fight. And let me tell you something, Chief. This year did nothing to improve his image in my eyes. And again, that's not his fault in terms of as a fighter. It's just his fucking promotional issue, whatever. PBC, the other promoter, they dropped the ball this year.
In my opinion, who he's with kind of reminds me of what happened to Vernon Forrest. Vernon was so good, and he signed with Main Event. So when we heard about that Augusta, we thought, "Oh, this is a sure lock." You know, he's with Main Events. He's going to go places because they had Pernell Whitaker, and they had a bunch of people around. They worked with Corte, and they worked with a bunch of fighters around 147. So we thought this was going to be a surefire thing for him. And then that was back around 96, and he didn't get his title shot against Shea Mosley till 2001. So eventually, Ennis is going to have to do the same thing Vernon did, is say, okay, who's not taking my career any further? Because I'm in the gym, I'm training, I'm fighting, I'm doing well, I'm shipping guys out. Now, is my matchmaker not putting together good fights? And if not, why? If he's just not trying, he's fired. Next, who's my manager? Is my manager getting me the most exposure I possibly can by keeping me on multiple networks so I can go around there? No, he's not. Okay, he's fired. Who's my promoter? Is my promoter getting me out there and putting me in places to where I'm seen in between fights at ringside and the camera's coming over and talking to me and I'm getting interviews and I'm getting out there? If not, no, you're fired. I'm moving on. And that's what Vernon did around 99. And then we saw what happened, even though he, lost to Mayorga. But once he started doing that, he got the Shea Mosley fight. And he became a household name really quickly for making those decisions. Ennis needs to do the same thing.
You know what the crazy thing about that is, though? And interesting, because when I was mentioning Virgil Ortiz that everybody's on the PBC side, there is fighters in the PBC that can be placed against Ennis to prop this dude up, to prop this dude's career up. Like Keith Thurman and Danny Garcia. And all those guys, they're there. So if Al Haymon's not doing business with other promotional companies, why is he not putting all these fighters that he has in the welterweight division that are not champions to make these potential future champions like Jaron Ennis? That remains to be seen.
Because Al Haymon is not any part of his real promotion. He just fights on Showtime, which uses PBC. I forget his promoter is, but Al Haymon doesn't really have anything to do with Ennis. And so so basically what's going to happen is whoever represents Ennis, I can't remember his name, is going to have to try and, is it Gary Shaw? Gary Shaw's going to, yeah.
Oh, he's still around.
Al's not going to risk his fighters against a Gary Shaw fighter. It's that simple.
The fuck? Gary,
he gets nothing out of it.
Still around. I didn't know he was still around.
Yeah, no, me either.
Interesting. Well, I got to tell you, man. Yeah, go ahead, Jimmy.
I don't know what the problem is with these guys today is especially, I don't know if they've fashioned it under the same PBC style contract, because the problem with those guys, they can't get out of the contract. He signs them for 10, 11, 12-year contracts, and they don't even have free autonomy. They don't have use of their name. He's with Showtime. Here's the problem with Showtime. They seem to be getting away from boxing. And the problem with Gary Shaw is it doesn't look like he's going to work with anybody else because he's afraid to lose his PBC access. So I don't know what they're going to do, but fighting 4 minutes in a year is not making this kid any better. He's losing the prime years of his career sitting on the shelf before he's even been tested. So, I mean, I've been high on this kid. I've thrown him all kinds of praise. But if they don't make something happen with him soon, I'm going to start losing interest.
And you know what?
I think they need to make a move to 154 and start knocking out contenders or pretenders. Oh. Because at 147, we know 147's locked up with whatever's going on with Spence and Crawford and whatever drama they want to try and drag out and everything else and try and convince us that it's going to be Mayweather Pacquiao. It's not going to be. I've addressed that on the show before. But there's too much there. So I would move to 154. There's only one guy there. that you really need to worry about, despite the other two contenders being Fedora and Zoo, and that's going to be Charlo. And there's plenty of other stuff around there. There's Tony Harrison. There's Laura will come back down for a fight, I'm sure, if the money's right. When they have their associations with PBC, there's stuff that can be done there. J-Rock's still around. He's still alive. So if he's beating, he's going to need a fight because that's what he does for a living. There's people that he can fight and he can make some money off of, and he can start some noise. That's what I would do if I were him.
Interesting. Let me tell you, man. You mentioned Vernon Forrest. The other thing of Vernon Forrest was, and I get these young guys have to remember this because they think they're going to be young forever. They need to remember. You mentioned Vernon Forrest. What happened to him? Didn't he lose about 2.5 years of his career because of a shoulder injury? So you never know what's going to happen with these guys. Yeah, you never know. Hey, maybe your ankle, maybe your hand, maybe your rotator cuff, whatever. Just you got to make something happen. You got to make something happen now. Once you're 36, 37, 40, you retire. You're going to have a lot of free time. And unfortunately, what happens with a lot of these guys is once they start becoming shot and past their prime, now they want to keep on boxing. Now they want to fight as often as possible. You should have done that when you were in your prime. So, Jaron Ennis, we can only hope the best for him. But right now, this year was complete a waste. And hopefully he shines.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is he going to be is he going to fall into the same situations as Regis Prograis? It seems like that when you got like this middle of the road kind of like not that Gary Shaw, he's a garbage promoter, but he's not one of the big dogs nowadays, I think, right? So if you're not with the big dogs, you're kind of wasting your career away, like Regis Prograis. That's why Regis Prograis is talented, but we don't know how he's going to look against John Cepeda. So it's one of those things with him, with Jaron Ennis. How will he look?
Well, listen, let's stay in the hall here of Americans, gringos, as we like to call them on my side of the border. And we've got Jared Anderson, heavyweight. ESPN Top Rank, they keep going on and on about how, hey guys, this guy didn't come here from football or basketball. He's really a boxer. He's been a boxer his whole life. So a lot of people are high on him. He can crack. He seems to have a personality, character behind him. The only thing is he's trying to appeal to a certain demographic. One time he came out dressed as a pimp, as you can see. Last time he came in dressed as a prisoner. I hear next time, I got the inside scoop, he's going to come in dressed as Richard Speck, serial killer extraordinaire. So, guys, what do you think? Is he on the right move here? Is he going to shine in 2023? Are they going to match him up with somebody that's really going to match him physically and talent-wise? Or?
Well, the first thing they need to do is get him out more often. He's still a prospect. He's not a contender. So these ring entrances are going to help because they're going to be like, hey, do you remember this guy that did this and this and this, and he dressed up like that and that and that? And I mean, Peter Gabriel style ring entrances will actually draw some attention to him.
Peter Gabriel.
Yeah, you remember when he was with Genesis, he used to screw the whole show up because he was more about himself than he was the concert.
I didn't know that.
So anyway, that's a rock story for another time. But anyway, the point is, when he's trying to draw the attention to himself on the ring entrance, then there's something to talk about. But for someone that didn't come from another sport, Michael Grant looked like he had more fundamentals than this guy does. This guy still squares his feet. Remember the things I said when I first started calling in? I said about Tank Davis. He squares his feet, squares his shoulders, throws with his from his chest, doesn't keep his hands up, and yet here he is, 27 years old. He's still making these mistakes. Well, the thing about Anderson is that with these kind of flaws for a person that grew up in the gym, who was training you? Was everyone just a sir man thinking you, because you're a big guy and you could punch, that they were just telling you always looked great? Because all these highlight reels I see of him knocking people out, they're tomato cans.
Right.
He's a can crusher. Not a single one of them has an ounce of muscle tone. And these are the highlights. He did fight someone not too long ago. The one when he came dressed as a pimp. I don't know how good that fighter was, but he was like a French contender, maybe even ranked in the lower part of the top 10. So he is making small progress, but his mistakes are still there. His hands are still low. He doesn't move his head well. He squares his feet up. He's always looking for that knockout punch. He doesn't set it up very well. He's looking to do it off of reflexes, which don't last forever. And these are things that I don't expect someone that grew up in the gym to do. Roy didn't rely on reflexes. He did a whole bunch of things to set himself up. So did Floyd. It looked like all they did was look for one punch pot shot, but they did so many other minor nuances to set things up through movement and feints and other and footwork, as well as that's what Drawn Ends does too. This guy doesn't do that. He goes forward. He's looking for that big highlight reel shot to get this big knockout, and I can respect him for that because knockouts, thrills pay bills, but more than skills. You heard that rhyme here first. Because the thrill,
I'm going to steal it.
The thriller is going to get. Well, look at Nigel Benn. He was getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars before he even got his first title shot because he kept knocking people out, and that was a lot of money back in the '80s. So if you're a heavyweight that's knocking everybody out, you're going to get attention if you keep knocking them out, especially with these flamboyant ring entrances. But when it comes time to fighting the upper echelon, if they're still there, meaning Tyson Fury, Usyk, Joshua, Wilder, any of these guys, if they're still there, when he starts to make his impact, if he's still got these flaws, they're going to eat him for lunch.
He looks like, in that picture, he looks like George Floyd. No, maybe he should do a George Floyd tribute. I can't breathe. What about me? And then a bunch of cops, dancing with batons.
Gonzalo, man. Oh, boy. I hope YouTube doesn't take this off, man. Imagine he comes up dressed like Floyd next entrance. He's got the black wife beater, the pants. Yeah. He's doing a funny little dance. You never know, man. But hey, listen, we're talking about Jared Anderson. I tell you what, man. We briefly touched on the other heavyweight that some people could hype up, and that's Richard Torres. I got to tell you, Richard Torres against similar opposition has actually looked better with scoring fantastical, bombastic knockouts. That last one was scary. So, I mean, what about Richard Torres?
I've been more impressed with him also. Go ahead, Gonzo.
I just think he looks more like a cruiserweight. I'm not saying he ain't good, powerful. This is a little too stumpy, for these big guys. I know small guys always give big guys problems. They even beat them sometimes. I don't know. Ray Mercer was a small heavyweight. Tua, Mike Tyson. Andy Ruiz certainly ain't that big. So, I mean, he could probably prove to be dangerous and somewhat powerful and knock some of these big cats out. But I don't know, man. He just looks more like a cruiserweight to me.
I gotta tell you, man.
The guys you mentioned, I'm sorry, go ahead, BDA.
No, go ahead, Chief.
The guys that you mentioned, Gonzalo, were big for their time. Ray Mercer wasn't short for his era, with the exception of Lennox Lewis and Riddick Bowe, but he was about the same height as Michael Moore and Evander Holyfield, and he was taller than Burt Cooper. So some of the other guys you named, this guy is much shorter than everybody else around him, and he's lighter.
Exactly, yeah. That's true. So, absolutely.
Those guys were like the fair size for their time. They would be small and on today's standard. You're absolutely right. But he looks shorter than Usyk, and he's lighter than Usyk as of right now, of what Usyk's weighing lately. So they're going to have to be able to add size, meaning thickness, without sacrificing everything else. His skill set looks fine. He doesn't have the same flaws that Anderson has. But boxing has weight classes and sizes for a reason, and only the true greats can actually overcome everything with their skill. And I'm not saying he doesn't have any of that, but it remains to be seen if he does.
I gotta tell you something about that. People keep harping on about size, and I agree. But let me tell you something right now. I'm not a size queen. To me, it's about skills and tenacity. The harder they are, the harder they fall. That's what Torres is thinking going in there. Look at this beautiful knockout. Hold on a second. I can show the whole thing. Now, yeah, the guy he was fighting looked like he'd had Down syndrome. But let me tell you something. I don't care about that. This guy's got moxie. He did well in the amateurs. I know it was only 3 rounds. But he goes for it. How far can he go? I don't know. But I tell you what, just based on attitude and moxie alone, this guy ought to be getting paid more than some of these other pretenders in the heavyweight division.
There'll be a lot of fancy posing and ring entrances if those two fight each other. I mean, I think the ring walk will be won by Anderson, but the moxie, as you put it, regardless of who wins the fight, will definitely be by well, you know where I'm going with that.
Absolutely,
with Torres.
All right. Well, listen, we've been on for 2.5 hours. I don't think we didn't even scratch the surface, but at least we talked about some of the guys that we usually don't talk about. It's always fucking Tyson Fury and Canelo this and Terence Crawford versus Spence and Tank Davis. Well, we did talk about some of those guys, but we also touched upon some other names. I guess that's about it for today, man. Unless anybody has anything else to say before we depart.
I say Joy Joyce is on the right path. He's getting older though. But they say about heavyweight, since you don't have to cut the weight and you throw less punches. I mean, Joyce certainly throws punches. He throws a lot of punches at a certain speed. But man, he's like you're fighting him when he's like in quicksand. And the more desperate you get, the more you start finding yourself that you're making a hole for yourself that you can't get out of. So it's like, yeah, when he brings it up, man, he starts dialing in on the shots, and you can't do nothing about it. He's dangerous, man. So we'll see what's up with him too. He's getting older though.
Yeah, that's Joey Joyce, man. This guy, he really impressed people after his Parker performance. Now, let's see if anybody was willing to step in there with him. I mean, Usyk 2, 3, 4 years ago, he would have done it. But right now, he's only looking for a Fury fight, maybe a Wilder fight. Other than that, he said he ain't interested in some of these guys. And I think he's got the style to beat Joyce.
He definitely deserves a title shot. He's done enough now that he deserves one. And he's old enough. He's not getting any younger. Boxing's not a charity, so no one has to fight him. But I think he's done enough to where people need to say, okay, he's not necessarily quote unquote a force to be reckoned with, but he's earned his shot to be in there with somebody in the near future.
That's right. Usyk, I think, would beat him just like he did in the World Series of Boxing, although it would be a little bit more difficult, obviously. But at this point, Usyk, that's the other thing, man. But anyway, listen, we'll be back with not more boxing. I'm going to try to come up with more gimmick episodes now that we don't have a fight this Saturday. And then the next Saturday, 29th, we have a bunch of things. We've got Jojo Diaz taking on Camarón Cepeda. Then we've got Lomachenko fighting. That night.
I'm looking forward to that one.
Actually,
there is a De La Hoya card on Friday, I believe, BDA. Mostly land fighters. I don't know if that's everybody's cup of tea, but yeah, it's prospects. On Friday.
Okay. Actually, you know what? Before we leave, though, come on, we didn't even touch the biggest name.
Oh no, BDA, sorry. There's an African American in the main event. He just got signed with Golden Boy. Sorry. That's what I want to say.
Listen, I forgot, man. My apologies. We didn't even talk about the biggest name in boxing and whether he's going to shine or not 2023. No, I'm not talking about Canelo. I'm talking about Jake Paul. What do you fellas think? Is he going to shine? I mean, he's got to get past Anderson Silva, the Spider. This November, actually in October, I believe. Yes,
he's going to keep doing what he does, and he's going to keep getting attention. He's going to keep getting paid. So whether that is a good or a bad thing for an event sport like boxing, which is all about can I attract enough people to entertain them, which is all boxing really is. The championship belts and everything else is commercial value. What it is Butterbean. Butterbean would on Tuesday Night Fights would get people to be excited about seeing, combat, even though he was fighting tomato cans. So long as they match him carefully, I think he's going to continue to quote unquote shine. I don't see him ever fighting for a title. I don't see him ever doing anything serious, but he's trying hard to get better at something to make money. And so far he's been successful. I don't like him, but
I gotta take umbrage.
I don't like what he's doing, but what he's doing is working for him right now.
I gotta take umbrage with you comparing him to Butterbean. At least Butterbean could go the distance without tiring himself, and he was a fatso. This motherfucker can't even throw a combo. Yeah, this guy can't even throw a combo without clinching afterwards. I'm telling you, if the Spider pressures him and doesn't drop his hands coming forward like an idiot, because he can fight, the Silva can fight off the back foot with the hands down. That's no problem. It's coming forward with the hands down. That's just Exhibit A, George Kambosos. Hey, yeah, he can fight with the hands down in the distance. Now ask him to put the pressure on the guy. See if he knows how to do it properly. He doesn't. So if Silva, just stay active. Just pepper this guy with shots. Pepper him with shots. He's going to panic. Trust me. Jake Paul looks like the type of guy that if you just pepper him with shots, he's going to flail away with big shots. It ain't going to work. He's going to tire. The more tired he gets, the more he's going to panic. But I don't know if that's Silva style as a boxer. So, hey, we'll see. Anyway, with that being said, I think it's time to end it. Shout out to everybody who joined us. I want to give a shout out to Jimmy. Stu was here earlier as well. Gonzalo, Chief. Thank you guys so much for being on. Everybody that...
Thank you for having me, sir. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Everybody that called in. Shout out to you fellas, everyone that donated with the super chat, and everybody in the chat right now. I'm talking about Knockout Ned, J. Colt, Arm, Alan R. in the house as well, the Chitlin distributor, Vladdy V, Campos Vasquez, 1 foot out the door. Shout out to 1 foot out the door. Who else do we got here? Vladdy V, like I said, Mr. Chinny Chin Chin Chin, Eparokua, Pound for Pound King was in there as well. Jay Money, shout out to Jay Money who also called in. Vince Vegas, who called me a tranny, I believe, in one of the last videos. Johnny Blaze, fuck the PBC. Shout out to Johnny Blaze. Hashtag fuck PBC. Mark T, Mike Morris. Guys, you know who you are. If I forgot anybody, you know who you are. But I just gotta go. Oh, salute to the Slugmeister, Slugger Sam. Shout out to him. I am your leader. Shout out to I am your leader. We gotta go, guys. Thanks a lot. Outlaw Boxing, aka Jed. Take it easy, fellas. Thanks for watching.